Hi! Oh shit. Oh shit. Will I start early just because you've shown up? Sure. Sure. Ah, those 3 minutes, you know? Consider them a gift from me to you. Oh god, that made it worse. That made it worse. Why am I in the ground? Why? Hi! I hope the music in my voice is at good levels. Everything's currently fucked, but that's okay. That's how we like it, probably. I feel like I'm usually bigger than this. You know, not to have a complex about my height or nothing, but I feel like, you know, no, that's too big. Don't worry, this is a precise science. A double roll, you fucking know it. Hi, I always have things I want to talk about, and I always forget them as soon as I start stream. I got water, I got my medication, I got edibles, just in case we want to get crazy. Actually, I don't think you can say that on Twitch. I don't have those. What was I going to say? Oh, yes, I've decided something. I am going to try to talk very calmly at you while I am in this face, because I keep fucking up the characters, and I feel like if I give them slightly different cadences, then perhaps I will... Oh, shit, the chat's not... Why isn't the chat there? Guys, what the fuck? There you are. Okay, cool. Just say no. Yes, kids. Remember, don't do the things you're not supposed to do publicly. Of course. I feel like that was good, and exactly, food is edible. I have a snack. I have a biscuit. I'm gonna crunch and munch it. Yes, I'm gonna try and speak differently in Pleasant and in Moth, so maybe, perhaps, we will have a canon to attain. Also, Twitch just sent me a bunch of shit. Hey, the music stopped. Lame. Twitch just sent me a bunch of shit. Oh my god. Everything's a mess. Please ignore that. Take your drugs. Take your prescribed drugs, was that alarm. Unprescribed drugs is a different alarm. Yeah, Twitch told me that we hit 9 streams, which is crazy because I haven't streamed 9 times. So congrats us. Even if you count my brief attempts at facecam streaming, that's 7. So I don't know what the fuck they're on about. My arm is already fucking up. That's great. That's cool. I like that. So yeah, it's like you might hit affiliate soon based on this shit that we made up about you, which, like, cool. I guess it's benefiting me at the moment, so I'm not gonna complain, but it's a bit weird. Besides that, nothing much is going on in my life. I got a snake. I know I'm trying to get rid of the other one, but, like, you know, sometimes you get, I'm gonna stop that line of thought right where it is. I'm snake sitting. I'm snake sitting my sister's snake. It just stays in a log all day. I haven't seen her. But I did watch it eat a mouse, and it smeared blood on the walls. I was like, wow, for 2 inches long, you sure are fucking vicious. You're... Yeah, a snake. That's what I'm describing. It's a garter. It's a California garter snake of some kind. I'm sorry, I keep looking behind me because I don't know why it thinks my hand keeps raising when it definitely isn't. It's supposed to get quite big, but at the moment it's like, you know, that maybe around that size. She's cute. She's fire. She's, you know, maybe she'll like me more once I feed her more mice. Which, I say me, but I do make my partner do it because I'm squeamish. I bet I could do it. I'm gonna try it. But it's likely that I will whine and ask her to do it. I think that's about it for, like, news I wanted to talk about. If we hit affiliate, I'm gonna set up some channel point redeems. I'm really excited for those. We can do a thing. I want to set up a consistent, like, punishment wheel that we could spin for when me or Moth speaks out of character. I think it would be really funny. given how often it happens. Though the punishments need to be tame. They can't be fucking, like, because I do it a lot. But yeah, exciting things of the future, exciting things in the past. I'm excited to play Of the Devil. I haven't booted it up yet because last time it gave us shit. It dueled the audio or what have you. So we're gonna go ahead and pause the music and set up here, and oh no, my fucking model isn't here. Why is that? I love it here. Okay, hi. See, everything's fine. Everything's perfect. We're gonna hit play and... oh no! We're gonna stop talking business. We're gonna talk in my voice because I'm the excitable main character and that other lady is stealing my fucking groove. Why? You guys can't see this, but I am begging why. The fucking screen is so big, it's like barely fitting onto one monitor and I can't. This is a work of fiction, in case that is not obvious, in case it is not telling you that. Okay, it is correct, but it is also like, why are you fucking enormous? Which I realize is a little rude, but hey! What about that? Hi! That worked, baby. Okay. Does that look good for you guys? Excellent. Both is good? I talk too fast on Downable. I don't even know what both is. Both me and Pleasant? Nah. Okay, let's continue. Last time was a lot of fun, but we still haven't gotten to any of the fucking mechanics. So I am excited to finally perhaps do some gambling. If you remember last time, we were headed to the hospital to see if our friend was truly killed, murdered. And they're swamped with corporations, and so we're gonna have to try and get around them and lawyers and figure out what's what. Also, I forgot to say this last time. I really meant to say this last time. Us playing this game is thanks to our very own Vaporwave Axolotl. So obviously, you know, undoubtedly you know him, but anyone who isn't following Vaporwave Axolotl or doesn't sing his praises when he arrives, you should do that because he's very nice and kind to us poor vagrants. He got me this game and we are playing it now because he's cool. Also, I realized, because I tend to just be reading and not like paying attention to the words that I'm reading because I'm so focused on just trying to deliver the story to you. The fucking intro of this game was probably the event of the murder. So, or a quote unquote murder. So they were speaking pretty casually in this intro. I don't know if you remember, but I was rewatching the VOD because I never know if I sound good. Someday I'll be not nervous. That day ain't today. But yeah, it seems like even if our, you know, little android child's wishes come true and they were in fact murdered and did not take their own life, that it probably wasn't the person with them, unless they were just really chill with each other pre-murder. Who knows? But I'm excited to find out. Okay. I just want to look at the log to make sure I haven't. Yes, Gatesfield Memorial Hospital. Thank you. You're a lifesaver. And the next time that Bridezilla texts you, just turn your phone off. Chatty guy. Must have been due to go on break. When he tried and failed to find the witness's medical records, his datapad had the name blacked out. But I did see that they have Caduceus Executive 3, more expensive than David's, which means they most likely... How did you do that? Love her, love her. She's back. She's already staring at me with those big, wide, innocent eyes. Ready to punch a hole through a freight train. You need to hold the button to get the doors to close faster. Mashing does nothing. That is not what I meant. There were many others who arrived before us. How did you get us down here so quickly? Well, I didn't do anything. It was that nurse who escorted us. Yes, but you managed to get a stranger like him to help you with so few words, so little information. I don't think you even gave him your name. Haven't you heard of the golden rule? Of course I have. Treat others how you would like to be treated. Sarah, my sweet summer child. Wrong. Treat others how they would want to be treated. He wanted someone that he could vent to. He wanted someone to pay attention to him, and he wanted to feel appreciated. Which means he'd be eager to help given the chance. Even just reading someone's mood is quite difficult. I feel that that is because you are a shut-in. How can you know how another person wants to be treated? There are no mind readers. No one can ever know anything about what anyone's thinking. Maybe not even themselves. It doesn't matter if they're your parent, your twin, your lover. It's always a gamble. It'll always be a gamble. I got the same thing across. That is not a very comforting sentiment. Well, I think it's fun. Only because you're good at it. How did you get good at it? Same as anything. Observation and practice. You must have been observing and practicing for a very long time then. Sarah's gonna fucking dig our backstory out of us tooth and nail, and I'm hoping she succeeds. I mean, I think the thing she's describing is not the thing you're hoping for, because what she's describing is definitely just straight manipulation. Like, you can just be earnest. You can just say, hey, what's up? What do you want from me? You know? Rather than being like, oh, I know what will make you ask the least questions about me. I mean, unless that's your thing. I ain't gonna yuck your yum if you're just trying to get into a legal place, or, you know what I fucking mean. If you're trying to get past people, who stand in front of places. Oh, did I skip a line just there? So we proceed down the hall, bear left, look for the fourth door. I'm gonna open the one that says morgue on it. Powers for good? Clear, you know, to each their own, I suppose. Huh? Oh, I love her already. Oh my god. What? Her nails? Her fucking tattoo? Oh, I'm hyperventilating? Her piercings? Ah! Okay, I'm gonna be normal about it. Like by the seat of my pants while I'm doing things socially. I mean, that's incredibly real. My heart just explodes at every social interaction, but I think that's healthy and good. Oh, hey! Come on in. Don't stand out there in the cold. Wouldn't be accurate. Sorry about the chill in here, but I run a little hot. And you can see my roommates never complain. I don't know what her voice is, so I'm just doing cocky. Yumi Sato, medical examiner. Dr. Sato, just the lady I wanted to see. Though I didn't expect that I'd get to. The fact that they've assigned a medical examiner, not some ad or junior, means... Oh, you can just call me Yumi. And you're? Morgan. I represent the deceased. The deceased? Oh, the deceased. Asher D. Wait, really? That's, weird. I thought this time slot was scheduled for a group of noble PR people who... I know. Weird, right? Well, what the hell do I know? Was getting tired of hosting Megs anyway. Oh, she's anti-Megacorp. Let's go. I gotta finish typing up this report before we can talk shop. But in the meantime, feel free to make yourself at home. Okay, let's observe. Ooh. Oh, we could just advance without looking at shit. Ooh, you gotta make sure you scrape every part of the scene then. Okay. What's this? The hospital's getting renamed? Weird. No, I guess it's some other hospital that got snapped up. Oh god, okay. Take a sip of water. Hospital renamed to thank Ikaria family. In a ribbon-cutting ceremony held uptown today, Plotter Memorial Hospital was formally renamed the Northeastern Icaria Medical Complex in recognition of the family's incredibly generous donations over the last several years. It's the latest in a string of philanthropic efforts by the family to result in a name change after they paid for the renovations to the orchestra hall and the retrofitting of what used to be known as the Scout Arena. Oh, they just want everything named after them. What the fuck? Well, it wasn't so long ago that the Icaria were better known for drawing blood than donating it. Back before the 50s, they had a fearsome representation for cutthroat business practices that had their business rivals going so far as to accuse them of involvement with organized crime. That's good to keep in our fucking back pocket. Don't piss them off. After the founding of Renogen Medical over 25 years ago and its subsequent sale, the Icaria have moved out of the business world and into the upper echelons of society. I'm going to stumble over their last name every time I come across it. That are sometimes mockingly referred to as the Neobility, a generation of newly minted aristocrats born from the unique and chaotic economics of the mid-21st centuries and the Red Decade. What? When asked her opinion on those who'd label her family House Icaria at the hospital's renaming ceremony, Renogen board member Mirai Icaria had this to say. In this country, anyone can make a name for themselves, as long as they're willing to put in the work. Mock new money all you want. But the truth is that success is all about reinventing yourself, and the only ones uncomfortable with that are... Oh, okay. They want money. No. Icaria, I guess they weren't always in the same line of work. Now they're plastering their name wherever to get themselves a new image. All the Neobility are eager to prop up their image whenever they can. But that must go double for the Icarias, assuming the truth about their criminal past is anywhere close to the rumors. Interesting. That's a lot of screens. There's got to be a diminishing returns on productivity. Why do they have so many monitors, man? You can't just ask someone that. Good question. Every quarter when they do inventory and budgeting, they ask me if I need anything, and I never do, so I submit a blank form. But I guess a while back there was a +1 in a spreadsheet somewhere, and no one's ever corrected it, and so, boom, I get 4 new monitors every year. That's hysterical. I love that. Do you run out of things to use them for? Sometimes, but this year I've started running 2 dramas at once when I'm doing rote work, which helps. I love her so much. Watching 2 television shows at the same time helps you do rote work? Helps me use up the screens. I see. She's my hero. Are these all dead bodies? One would hope so. I only meant that I'm surprised to see them stored here. It suggests a backlog, which suggests a higher murder rate than the public data would lead one to expect. Do you only examine bodies for the police, Doctor? Oh, I wish. Nah, most of my job involves confirming COD on natural deaths for insurance adjustments. Insurers want to blame the mod for failing, mod makers want to blame the stiff for not exercising enough, family says the company insurance plan would pay for mods and not a gym membership, but not a gym membership. Yeah, that whole wall there is suspected defective liver mods, suspected leaking internal bio batteries, suspected CCIC. CCIC? Climate change induced complications. Oh, God. You can prove that climate change contributed to an otherwise natural death? Very, very rarely. If it can be proved, what does that mean for the family of the deceased? Plus or minus 14% on the life insurance payout. I mean, it's most of what I do, and I don't dislike my job. It's just... so much of what I do just boils down to telling a bunch of cheapskates how to split the dead man's bill. It's enough to make homicide feel like a breath of fresh air. Is she finishing up over there? Right, okay, so what's up? Thank you for your time, Dr. Sato. My first question would be, what was the cause of death? Oh, wow, hi there, cute android. I didn't even realize it was. Really cute. The skin is... that's remarkable. Even just looking close, you can tell they really are warm. She looks flattered. I'm a little creeped out. Still not quite human body temperature, but they've come a long way. The earthly gens all looked flushed. Felt like they were always running a fever, and they ran like it, too. Even 2 years ago, the average warm android only lasted. Sorry, but the circumstances surrounding this particular case call for expediency. Right. So what can I tell you? Cause of death, tox screen. We know cause of death, it was poisoning. Tox screen. The police mentioned a tox screen. Yeah, that's the thing. They ran a tox screen when he first arrived. Typical diagnostic intake procedure. Based on the emergency call, they figured he must have overdosed on something, but the tox screen gave them nothing. After he died, we performed the broadest screenings possible. Nothing. So were you forced to conclude that this was natural death? I didn't give up that easy. I took blood samples and compared their makeup with what was on record in his previous medical history, and I managed to isolate a single non-naturally occurring chemical compound that wasn't there before. Wow. What was it? Wrong voice. What was it? Some exotic toxin from a different hemisphere? I wish. I ran it through every available database we have access to, and even a few I only sort of have access to through some friends. Not only does it not match any known poison, it doesn't match the chemical makeup of any registered compound. So a designer drug, huh? That seems to be the best explanation. What the hell did you do, David? You said it didn't match any registered compound. What about compounds that aren't registered? Those friends of yours, private sector folk? Yeah, in pharmaceuticals. If one of them patented a new compound, a new drug, what would keep its formula from going on the record? In the private sector, intellectual piracy is the norm, so you're expected to protect your research aggressively. Patent first, find a use later? Yeah, a patent would have to at least describe your compound in brief, but depending on what country you file in, I've heard it may be considered prudent to keep the actual chemical makeup off the record. Smart? Using international IP law as your own personal minefield? How so? Whenever you're ahead, patent as much as you can, as fast as you can, but bury the formula so no one knows where it's safe to walk. Anybody small and ambitious comes along, finds a new drug they're excited about, you flip up your card, let them know you came up with the idea years ago. And that you'll give them death by 1,000 court dates if they so much as blink. Ugh, yeah. It's capitalistic fucking discovery. It's more fucking beneficial, it's more productive, it's more monetarily useful to just put your fucking name on random shit, and when someone happens to breathe on a hinge that uses a certain type of metal, you'd be like, I patented that a while ago, didn't know what to do with it, thanks for showing me a use. Fucking leeches, snakes. Our respected employers. Wouldn't work on anyone your size or bigger, they could punch back, but for the rest of the field, wow, you corporate lawyers are scary. I'm not a corporate lawyer. So you came up with that strategy just now? So it's possible that this poison is actually a known substance, something that the hospital could have easily identified? If it wasn't considered a trade secret, yes, unfortunately that is a possibility. Still, just because a drug is new, that doesn't mean it's original. Does the effect that this compound had remind you of any other drug? Maybe one that's prescription only, or a controlled substance, one you might know by another name, but with a patented structure? Sorry, sweetheart, it's a general depressant. There are a lot of drugs that have that effect on the body, and they come in all shapes and sizes from all kinds of places. If the effect was unremarkable, what about its strength? Could you estimate how much of this stuff he had in his body, all told? Not precisely, no, not without detailed knowledge on its half-life, but I'd guess that it must have been about 20 milligrams? Is 20 milligrams a lot? Not for a medicine, so this wasn't just an overdose of something relatively harmless then. No, not if 20 mil was enough to crash his entire nervous system. What is the cause of death then? Were you able to determine the cause of death? Well, cause of death, sure, we got that much figured out at least. Why doesn't that sound particularly reassuring? Dr. Asher died of respiratory failure. Not enough oxygen in the blood. Not enough blood going to the brain. Root cause being widespread depression of the central nervous system. What would the symptoms be? What would it have looked like? Lightheadedness, followed by dizziness, then headaches, slurred speech, exhaustion, loss of consciousness, and finally, respiratory arrest. Report shows that the EMTs tried intubation, then resuscitation through electrical stimulation, repeatedly. By the time he got to the emergency room, they were desperate enough to attempt direct artificial blood oxygenation, but it was too late. And you're certain of all of this? Oh, well, most of it, sweetie. Most of it? Yeah, it's turned into quite the puzzle, and I'm used to having more pieces to start with. I was surprised a man as rich and famous as him didn't have any kind of biomes, but his files show what is a biome. Biomonitor is a general use term for wearable technology or implanted mods that monitor. We already knew this. He didn't have things actively monitoring his health. He wasn't a viable candidate for modding. Yeah, that's right. Without that kind of first-hand tech, we don't have nearly as much data as we'd like, but he was extensively monitored from the moment the MTs arrived. We're very certain about our conclusion. Did you find anything else unusual about his body in your examination? Cuts or bruises? No injection sites, nothing in cavities, nothing at all, huh? Thank you, Yumi. Of course, so... Okay, just the information we just learned. You ready to view the body? We could skip it, if you want. I know most people get squeamish around corpses. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. Ooh, creepy, creepy. Okay then, let's get started. Nope, wrong voice, but whatever. Alright, I'll just step out for a moment to give you some privacy. Yes, please, thank you. Oh, this sounds like slightly emotional music. I feel like Sarah's gonna freak out, and we're not gonna know how to handle it, because she's a robot, and we're not expecting it, and we're a robot who doesn't have it. The last time we talked was on a Sunday. You were complaining. Maybe she is more emotional than we thought. I remember that. It's the principle of the matter. Right, you had ordered this cheap piece of shit sculpture or something by mistake, and it came damaged, and you wanted to send it back for a refund. I gently reminded you how, with your salary, it literally was not worth your time. And I kindly offered to throw it out for you, since you're having so much trouble letting go. You're only offering because you want to see how loud it sounds shattering at the bottom of my trash can. I denied it, even though you were right, and it was obvious. I should have let you have that one. I thought that he would look different. But he looks exactly the same as I remember. His skin is pale, and he's very still. But his face is the same. His hair, his hands. You're expecting something more drastic? The last time I saw him, he was alive. He smiled, and he told me he would see me soon. Now he is dead. Something is gone. And I can't find the difference. I'm gonna cry. I'm trying to look harder, but I think I might just not be capable of it. And I wonder why. Why I was created to not be capable. Could be an issue of skill. Wow, we're really gonna say skill issue to the fucking bereaved? Or maybe it's not something that can be seen, no matter how hard you look. But it's there, I guarantee it. I've seen the transition enough times to be sure that between life and death, the distinction has significance. To the dead, at the very least. You're going to smoke? Here? Now? I'll pay the fine. That's not the issue. We're expecting me to fall to pieces? Real boys grieve in all kinds of ways, Pinocchio. And some don't grieve at all, it seems. The snap! I love Sarah so much. I'm a cold woman. Sorry to disappoint. The hell? Why the hell won't this thing light? Adonai, you have your cigarette backwards. Oh, we are freaking out. Oh, we are freaking out. Interesting. How thick is that pretend cold layer? Alright, that's back into cold storage for him. So, need anything else? Can you send me the chemical makeup of that compound you isolated? Sure, for what it's worth. Let me just... It's got carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen with hexagonal structures. Oh, cool. So, like, anything. So it's organic, but there's a number of metallic elements, too. Okay. And if you had to speculate on its intended use, based on what we know of its structure. Human side is showing exactly, and I wonder how much that human side likes murder. Like, when a killer is confronted with a death that actually hurts them, does it bud a little bit of empathy for the loss of life? Who knows? Well, it certainly acted like a depressant, binding to receptor pathways and affecting the balance of neurotransmitter reuptake. Depressants are pretty rare in the designer drug scene. True, people are always looking for a higher high or a crazier trip, but a more powerful depressant will just make you fall asleep. Not much need to hit up the gray market for that kind of experience. No, there's not. I see. Thanks again. You've been extremely helpful during a very difficult time. Hey, anything you need, give me a ring. That's very generous. Rockford's orders got me on call, so I'm already getting overtime for the whole weekend. Glad to hear it. Pfft, love her. Goodbye, Yumi. And goodbye to you, Greenie. My name is Sarah. Nice to meet you, Sarah. Yumi, if we were in the same room, I would faint. Up on ramps and down off ramps, above skywalks and under tram lines. The buildings get progressively more polished as we head into the more economically developed part of the city. Pardon me. Corporate territory. National headquarters for the likes of Howe Industries, Lock-Coon, I'm gonna assume that's how you say it, Tethys, Snive, each of them sheltering their own micro-city of employee accommodations beneath their skyscraper shadows. Whale Fall, the entirety of the ocean floor coming together to feast and grow and live. Live off the fetid, rotting fat of the leviathans that swallow generations of people by the mouthful. Hello, Vapor! I stole him away. We were complimenting you. Not me, Pleasant. I would never. But, you know, welcome in. What? Nothing. Ignore that. Didn't happen. I'm sure you're imagining things. Go take your medications. Weight is commonly listed, and my weight is... Do I really have to disclose that? Noble lays claim to one of the largest shadows in the city, a towering nerve center of the whole nation's android industry. Dual-wielding streams. I refuse to choose. Undominable. There is no personal offense in any case, whether you are, you know, around. If you're enjoying hanging out, I love hanging out. If you're enjoying hanging out somewhere else, I'm enjoying that you're enjoying yourself, you know? I'm also secretly in other streams, you know? I'm around. I'm spooky. Undominable would never. I would never. Someone insults someone. So I feel better about the situation. If there's too many compliments, I get embarrassed. Vapor, I feel you. I feel you so hard. My follow list could just astound and bewilder. Cat, also welcome in. I hope you're doing wonderfully. See, we got the whole fucking crew. Oh, also, now that people are here, there's a thing I didn't talk about earlier. I have now officially added an alert for if people follow or raid, and a lurk-unlurk thing. So, if you feel cheated out of a follow alert when you followed, feel free to test if it is working. I don't know if I'll hear it, so I actually don't know how I noticed that sort of thing. But that's what these tests are for. Well, extreme at the same time, I can concentrate on two. Do you keep like both the volumes on and like gradually increase one or decrease the other? I feel like my brain explodes when I do that, but I often try it. Ahem. It's meant to be intimidating, I'm sure, but today I'm glad that Noble keeps such a sizable physical presence here. I need answers about David and his work on Sarah. Answers I'd never get browsing the company website or speaking to a representative. My brain works differently, I'm not sure how to describe it. In my sick and twisted mind, two streams is one stream. I fuck with it. It's just two people hanging out and talking over each other. I've dealt with that in real life. Synopsis, relationships. There are typically trivia sections as well. Should I start there? I love when we ignore Sarah completely. It's very funny. Noble will have their guard up, of course, but even that will tell me something. Where they let me walk, who they let me talk to. History. Their efforts at performative transparency and clumsy obfuscation will... How did you know my father? What? I'm sorry, did I interrupt your brooding? Sarah is learning sass, and I am here for it every time. No. What did you ask? My father. I know you were his friend. But what was your relationship like? Can't you just scroll through our socials? Father avoided social media. And your online presence is not significant. You saying I don't have enough followers? Essentially. We went to the same college. You studied programming? No, I studied all kinds of different things as an undergrad, but not technology. Love, Sarah. Is that a good way to prepare for law school? I wasn't preparing for law school, or anything else, really. David, though, he had talent, and he knew he wanted to do something with it. He studied programming, robotics, discrete math, cybernetics. What classes did you share then? Business ethics? That's fucking amazing. I was the second best student in the class, and he was the first. He was the one who asked the most questions. Not sure about his actual ranking. He found the course challenging, and I clearly didn't, despite being younger. Guess he felt burned. He'd come up to me after class to argue, and sometimes he'd ask for help. Father always talked about socializing like it was a chore. It was kind of you to give him a chance. What, like I was some kind of social butterfly? The belle of the ball? You weren't? One Sunday night, he knocked on my door, all panicked, saying he was in bad shape for his tech course. There was a midterm or something the next day. I couldn't make heads or tails of the material, but I did my best at least to quiz him. He wasn't satisfied, though, wanted to cram the rest of the night. Oh yeah, I'd love to get your take on it as well, Indomitable. Father had to cram for an undergraduate midterm? Did I say something scandalous? He's been called the founder of modern programming. Yeah, well, even founder types can have poor time management when they're 21. He was already fried by that point. Wasn't hard to tell what he was really asking for. So I went and stole a study aid for him. You stole a controlled substance just to help him with studying. No, that'd be insane. No, I just pocketed some breath mints from the common room. Told him to pinch his nose and swallow fast, because the taste is so strong. Love her. They might not be the right word, but they both had a distinct trait that they could see within each other. Definitely. They're both very strong personalities in radically different ways. You gave him a placebo. He already knew the content as good as he ever would. What he needed was to sleep. He could barely keep his eyes open by the time I got back from my daring heist. Didn't take much convincing for him to rest his eyes just until it kicked in. And the test? B+, I think. I'm surprised that Father stayed close with you after that. Morgan, seeing them dead is like seeing a part of themselves die. Ooh, that is a hot take. I kind of want to agree with you just for the implication of her character. Yeah, because she like For her to view him highly, she must have tied some part of herself to him, like seen some part of herself in him. I don't know. You stole and lied to him. I stole and lied for him. And David understood that. He was good at understanding things without me having to spell them out. That describes it right there. Morgan does shit and doesn't want to explain herself, but like is often doing things in a non, aggressive. She doesn't mean any harm, even if harm comes by it. And David's like, oh, this was your earnest attempt at doing a thing you were asked to do. Sick. Or at least that's my understanding of that sentence. But I guess that's not the kind of thing that gets passed down through programming. Ooh, they're burning each other back. There's a little spit and vinegar, and I love it. I wonder what the relationship is if we really look at Sarah as his daughter, who is Morgan. Like they have a close connection familially, Maybe David's like serious ex or something like that. I don't know. I like thinking about it. Anyway, we kept in touch after that. First year of grad school, he published this paper. The Turing Solution, a framework for programming adaptive linguistic heuristics. One of his advisors came up with that title. David thought it was way too cocky, but it still hasn't failed any known Turing tests in the years since. Sarah, you're very proud, and I love that. Don't act like you're the one who deserves credit for it. He called me one weekend, asking for advice on how to handle all the attention. Job offers, interviews, apprenticeships, invitations to immigrate. What did you tell him? I don't remember telling him anything, actually. A lot of our conversations went like that. He would talk to me about whatever personal or professional problem was stuck in his head that day, and I would nod while he wore himself out. And at the end of the conversation, he'd thank me, even though I hadn't offered a single word of advice. He took Noble's offer, and they took over his education, paid him to work on his master's during the day and attend corporate training at night. And whatever else Noble may be, they were smart. Hey! Something happened. Hey! You got the thing to work. Hi. Probably exists. Being too speculative, but he most likely saw something in Morgan. He was highly intelligent and yet went to Morgan for help. He knows how perfect she is because what they recognized was mutual. What do you think, like what they recognized in each other or what they both recognized in the world? I think I agree with you, but I don't know exactly what you're pointing at. It's cool, right? It was cool, right? Everyone liked it. Everyone liked the drum roll and I had my little cute recording. I did great. If you wonder why there's a green screen, Pleasant told me it's not in the budget to get rid of it. I think she's lazy or doesn't know how. But what do I know? I'm not paid to comment. Follow alert works, but you did mean to not chroma key the green background. There you are. There you are. I've explained it. It's Pleasant's fault, not mine. I have another character to throw under the bus. Proficient. They both recognize how their minds work, maybe. Ooh, yes. Yes, for sure. They're both, like, very observant people who see, like, the inner workings of very complex people and like being close to them. I like that. I like that theory a lot. You are referring to the 1 point doctrine. Quality over quantity. Simple and elegant, just like his code. Simple and elegant, but anathema to a global corporation with supply chains designed for maximum capacity and just-in-time manufacturing. But obviously, they got over their distaste fast enough. In the span of a few years, Noble's gone from making manual labor ads for meager profit to being the world leader in intelligence as a service. Morgan surprised their identity to this thing more than he does. Ties their identity to this thing more than he does. Oh. It's Morgan saw it more than him, but he appreciated it just as much as her. I definitely like that. I like that a lot because it's like she didn't really need anything from him, but enjoyed being needed, and he needed something from her that he couldn't describe. I think he wouldn't be able to think of a word for it either. He's just like, when I talk to her, like it's good, it's helpful. and she is good at it's not just because like I'm talking to someone, it's something specifically about Morgan and the way she interacts with people or interacts with the world. I like that. God, the fan fiction writes itself. It's not even romantic fan fiction. I just want to hear a conversation between them. Even as he was making money hand over fist, he still kept in contact with a nobody like me. I moved to the city for my apprenticeship. He helped me put a down payment on my apartment, then made up excuses as to why he couldn't help me move boxes. Love that. So is that enough detail for you? Thoroughly convinced that he and I were, in fact, friends? I am. But Adonai, the favor that you owe him, what was it for? That's private. Understand? I have zero interest in talking about it with you. Ooh, she's testy on that one. Say you understand. I understand, Adonai. We will be arriving shortly. Shall I send word ahead? Just tell them that David's lawyer is here. Now I'm really curious. They're really fucking poking me on that. Why do you owe so-and-so a favor? Sorry. I don't know if my tracking's gonna get worse or not, but I feel like it's prudent to turn on the light. I just realized I didn't turn on my stream light, so hold on. Whoa. Noble Electronics Northern HQ, Northeastern HQ, sub-lobby A8. I've been here before. Sat right here in this lobby, waiting for David to come and treat me to lunch. At least, I think it was this lobby. Could have been some other floor, could have been an entirely different building. All these corporate towers of Babel feel like interchangeable fractals to me, folding in on themselves in patterns of narcissistic paranoia, so monumental in the scale of their hubris that they needed to use non-Euclidean geometry when drawing out the blueprints. The greatest minds of each generation coming together just to find the most expensive way to shove their heads up their asses. God, she has a way with words that just makes me want to write down everything she says. Adonai, is something bothering you? Just doing the math on how long will be kept waiting here. Apparently, someone will be here shortly. So maybe if I pass the time by glaring around the place, it will improve my mood. Ooh, time to learn things. So much energy, so many people, also intent. You kidding? It's Saturday, the place is half empty. But doesn't everyone work on Saturdays? All the parents do, so they don't need to find childcare on Sunday. Everyone else flips a coin, I guess. All these people, for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. What could they all possibly be doing? Making work for themselves. You can be very cynical, can't you? Yeah, I'm terrible. But that guy over there is just jiggling his cursor for the last 20 seconds. Me as fuck. They changed the logo again. Noble Electronics. How's it feel stepping in here? Is this some kind of religious experience for you? It's just the corporation where my father worked. Careful now, or they'll burn you for heresy against the company. You said it again, the company, as if it's a proper noun. You're mimicking the employees, aren't you? So it can't obey simple orders, but it can pick up on that? Is it just part of the corporate culture? Noble's one of the biggest corporations there is, one of the biggest there's ever been. We mere humans can't hope to escape the gravity of anything that size, no matter where you live or how far off the grid you think you are. So imagine what it's like working for them. You live in company dorms, work in company quarters. Wherever you go, the company's logo above your head. You eat, sleep, and breathe on Noble's timetable, at its discretion. When you spend your whole life inside of it, Noble must feel big enough to be the only company there is. God damn. To think there is only one room. This complex is so massive, it doesn't even feel man-made. It's like it was carved out of the rock by waves, like it's always been here. That's the con. If this place was actually natural, there'd be birds everywhere. I hadn't considered that. Why aren't there birds in here? Probably because of what they do to the ones that get in. Woof. I'm kidding. Though I don't have a better explanation. Whoever comes to greet us better have a pulse and some goddamn authority. My mood's starting to sour, and if they just send me the first link in their infinite chain of corporate bureaucracy, I'll make them wish. Morgan? That's me. Hey there. Android... Oh, I thought that was recognition, but just Morgan because he was told that our name was Morgan and we were waiting for someone to chat to us. Hey there. Android Manufacturing Quality Control, Eastern Division. Evan Dawes. Evan Dawes, he says, like it's an afterthought. What's a name compared to your place in the hierarchy? You seem familiar. Have you... I'm David's lawyer. Oh, then we must have... Apologies. Let me first say how sorry I am about his passing. You and everyone else at the company must be going through a lot right now. As if it's a proper noun. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me. Nothing could make me hate Sarah. Nothing could make me hate Sarah less. Or love Sarah less. Words, they mean things. I'm putting them in the right order. You're welcome, but it's no big deal. Everyone's on the razor today, but what else is new? Oh shit, wrong voice. And compared to PR or legal right now, our workloads in QA are... Never mind. How can I assist you? Shortly before his passing, Dr. Asher began the process of registering this android. Yes, that is correct. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to finish the job. Look at that. It's definitely custom. Gee, you think? Good thing I sought out an expert. Warm, it goes without saying. Reminds me of the A16 Premiere, if anything. The barcode is clearly printed, no visible defects. But you're right, it doesn't correspond to anything we've got on file. Well, they sent you to the right man for the job. Now we just need to go to the right place. Not far, I hope. It's in the building. In the building. That could mean anything from down the hall to a half a day's hike. The production line on B9 should have everything we need. You do manufacturing inside your corporate headquarters? B9's a fully functional production floor, but it was only built for demonstrative purposes. New clients make deals upstairs about how many and in what shape and size, then they come down to the basement to see how the sausage is made. They have enough money to build a fake factory just for guests? Smart! So long as you're only giving tours and not giving away company secrets. No need to worry about that. We take intellectual security very seriously around here. No kidding, there are 11 cameras on us at the moment that I can see. Oh, I bet you're real good at fucking finding cameras in the room, aren't you? And who knows how many pairs of modded eyes are aimed our way? Probably all of them. Clearly, nothing happens here without the almighty company knowing about it. So if they try to claim ignorance about anything, it's gonna piss me off. How cool would it be to get away with murder inside this building? Lead the way. Noble Electronics Northeastern HQ. Same place. Basement. Cool. It really is fully furnished down here. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but it's pretty rare to get to see all this in person, you know? Would you mind terribly if I looked around for a moment? No problem. I've got some prelim paperwork I need to handle anyway, so have at it. I better take full advantage. In a way, it would be pretty cool. Not me struggling to remember what I just said. Take custody. I'm gonna look around. You stay put in the meantime. Ed and I. Wouldn't want you to lose you among the rest of the merchandise. Watch. What's being built out there? Our top-of-the-line brand new bestsellers, the Animate 16 Warm. Looks kinda cold out there. We keep the factory floor refrigerated. Slows the organics already tuned metabolic activity to a minimum. That explains why the room doesn't smell like rotting flesh. The flesh out there is only somewhat rotting. Slowly. I just meant I'm surprised to see metal. Oh, well, all the A16s have alloy endoskeletons. The organics are layered on later in the process. Sounds like what Sarah told me about herself. Maybe she really was the A16's prototype. But it's hard to imagine bridging the gap between her and these scattered doll parts. I get that you can grow... It would be pretty cool to get away with murder here. Ah, yes. In a way, it'd be cool in every way. Come on now. 11 cameras, fucking a billion modded eyes, and just after their fucking head honcho gets murdered, maybe they'd have mass quits, you know? People just leaving the company for fear of murder. Be pretty funny. How do you get the synthetic and the organics to work together? Yeah, that was our first concern when R&D began to work on the worm concept. The 1.0s were really skin with synthetic muscle, and it was a horror show. Metal pulling on skin was just... right. For 2.0, they worked backwards. Organic muscles, organic skin, but digital signals on organic hardware was a dead end. Didn't the muscles flex when you passed an electric current through them? They'd flex and unflex, sure, but that's not nearly precise enough for the facial expressions. Looked like puppets strung up on live wires. We used the test footage to haze interns, actually. You must have figured something out. The A16 wouldn't look out of place on the runway. Thank you, we try. We ended up reaching out to mod companies. Well, we actually just bought out half a dozen of them, but... right. Yeah, same thing to them. They figured out how to get human nervous systems moving mechanical limbs decades ago. So we just needed to get a mechanical nervous system to move living limbs. Very clumsy attempt to avoid using the words human. High precision mods are slotted straight into the nervous system. They receive their input from neurotransmitters, not bioelectricity. So you had to do the opposite. Exactly. We created a synthetic neurotransmitter that our androids could use to communicate with organic flesh. Where did that breakthrough come from, Dr. Asher? That sounds like it could also create a fucking brain control chip, doesn't it? Like, that feels like a slippery slope. Not to employ a fallacy in this moment, but that's a scary slope. Where did the breakthrough come from, Dr. Asher? Partly, he led the team that built the motor neurons on this in this analogy. They carry commands from the central nervous OS to individual muscles across the chassis. Something that could be used for paralyzed people too. Indomitable, you're a much sweeter person than I, and I am constantly confronted with that fact. But the synthetic analog serotonin, that was actually an old brainchild from the VP of Android Futures, Helen Jung. Jung. Hasn't David mentioned a Dr. Jung before? No problem, anytime, so long as you don't admit to publicly how opposite slopes I tread. We'll just keep that between us girls, huh? Jung hasn't, sounds impressive. She's one hell of a biochemist. Or she was, I guess. Not much time for individual lab work when you get to her kind of pay grade. So Jung collaborated with David on the technology that enabled warm androids. As I thought, whatever went into Sarah that makes the android so distinct, he couldn't have taken sole credit for that. Just means it's good to acknowledge all the elements. Right? I'm just measuring the facets. I'm not planning anything. I'm just terrified. Jung, did he partner with her on this? This seems to share some components with that coffin Sarah was napping in. If DAW's is quality assurance, is it some kind of android calibration device? It's probably what he'll use to register Sarah. Looks a little... Is Sarah tall enough for it to recognize her? Cute. Feels like I've seen this before. This is a printer. Yeah, there's one in David's lab. Manufacturer, high quality piece of machinery, each of them built in-house by Randock Mechanics. What does it do? Nano level flash fab. Oh, does it not do what I thought? method of manufacturing artificial microscopic compounds that utilizes parallel nesting to assemble billions of simple structures in minutes or even seconds. Nanomachines have been around for the better part of a century, but the time and resources required for their construction through traditional means was historically prohibitively expensive, limiting exploration of and investment of nanotech. In the years since flash fabrication's introduction, use and demand for nanomachines has exploded. Scientists, doctors, and product designers have found brand new niche for them across every industry. Concerns about the ecological impact of this surge in nanomachine construction have been raised, though the official stance of the Nanolife Industrial Lobbying Group has remained unwavering. Nothing that small can possibly leave that big of an ecological footprint. Go fuck yourself. Rue! Haha, nerd, get busy. I hope you're doing well. I hope your busyness is not keeping you too I don't know, stressed? I hope you're able to blow off the hard parts. Alright. So it is a printer, but only for nanotechnology. You could have led with that. You build nanomachines in your factories for use in your androids? The raw materials are cheap, literally elementary, so no sense in getting them shipped in. It's mostly the mechanical models that make use of them. I'm down to... You keep being so sweet, I'm gonna fucking put you in a box, shake you around whenever I need encouragement. Did anyone hear that? Don't. Pretend you didn't. Did anyone hear that? Pretend you did. A 3D printer for nanomachines. So what kind of ink does it use? Silicon, hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, building blocks. Oh, you mean that shit we just found? Oh, you mean nanomachines? Nanomachines, son. He was poisoned with nanomachines? Okay, you're on board? Sick. Just for reference, you know, do you fall for, like, if I put a box under a stick and, like, let a trail of candy up to it, do you think you'd fall for that, or what? They feed into the nanoprinter and it assembles the machines particle by particle. So a nanomachine went in and fucking killed him. That's terrifying. Like a ribosome building structurally complex proteins out of chemically simple nucleic acids. Sure, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Happy to have you lurk, Igru. I hope your work is easy and your lurk is pleasant. You would think, but Randok cracked the code on parallel microfracturing. The inside's crystalline, sprawling, like an ant's nest. Raw materials enter at one of the thousands of different entry points, combined and recombining at intersections. The finished product ends up at the center and drips out in a liquid solution. Distilled nectar, swimming with millions of nanites in just 2 minutes. Nectar? It's sticky? It can be, depending on the desired output, but the door vacuum seals while it's cooking, so don't worry. No, okay. Here's a weird fucking cold shot. I feel like there is a non-0% chance that this dead doctor Jesus-is us. That nanomachines kill and then rebuild him in like a very android, like reverse engineering androids, like rather than building meat onto androids, embedding android into meat. I don't know. Could be cool. It's completely spill-proof. What a relief. Not exactly a box of paper clips David could just have brought home from the office one day, but he has one of his own. He must have bought his own for some reason. Yes. Interesting. Okay. There's something out there that caught my eye when we came in. A very familiar shade of crimson. If I squint through the glass, out on the floors, there are temperature-controlled fluid tanks. Oh, is that the human blood that they transfused into that soldier? Through glass and plastic flows an eye-catching scarlet that transitions into... So you add the blood towards the end. You mean the oxidant? Yeah, relatively late in the process. Something out of place? Androids have blood, even if it's not officially labeled as such. But it isn't red, it's pink. Sometimes milky, sometimes neon, occasionally garish, but pink. I just didn't think the oxidant would be red. Oh, right. Sorry, I barely noticed it at this point. The color's natural, comes from the biomanufacturing process. The chromofuge out there, manufacturing machinery that processes organic fluids used in the production of warm androids, removes bioproducts, impurities, and pigments from android blood, thereby changing its color from red to pink. Oh, interesting. Yes. Changing it from blood red to psychopop pink. Without that chromofuge, our android's flesh would come out looking all the wrong colors. That may be true. It probably isn't, but it might be. But I have a simpler explanation. Blood is primal. The sight of it carries weight. They change the color of their product's blood so that when an android gets a bottle broken against its face, no one bats an eye. Yeah, that's true. Also weird for her to use the word primal. That's kind of terrifying. Ooh, a data pad. A write-up. No, not a write-up, just a regular data pad. On the subject of Sullivan's Peak. Much of our world today, and in fact much of our world's economy, is heavily influenced by the uncanny valley. The thought experiment provides a simple and easily applied explanation for the gaps we see in the otherwise wide spectrum of automated dependence that assist us in nearly every industry on the planet. There's a very simple primal truth to it. We like things that resemble the living, like cartoons and puppets and toys. And we like things that are damn near indistinguishable from living, like whatever name Noble's latest products are being sold under. But there are deep trenches between those two ends, where products are universally appalling to human sensibilities. The uncanny valley will no doubt remain a useful tool for teaching, marketing, and design for generations to come, but already we are seeing ways in which it fails. It is becoming increasingly clear to us that the space between nearly indistinguishable and truly indistinguishable is much wider than we ever suspected, and it may not be the only part of the map that we must fear. I propose we bridge these gaps in knowledge by looking to the speculative fiction of Robert J. Sullivan, who, in his most well-known work, Equal Under One Sky, described a concept which thereafter has been called Sullivan's Peak. Through the lens of his characters and their so very divided world, Sullivan demonstrated that the uncanny valley does, in fact, have its own peak on the other side, a point past which makes an artificial existence any more human in its features serve only to make the user experience more uncomfortable, more difficult, and more fraught with more pitfalls. Once you reach Sullivan's Peak, traveling any further only has diminishing returns. The implications of this idea are far-reaching. We will very soon reach a point at which the designers of ads can only make their creations less lifelike or less likable, a hard stopping point for technological process. What then, we must ask? Oh, didn't sign in. I'm not sure diminishing returns is the correct word. I feel like diminishing returns means you are slowly getting less from it, but this is that you're getting less than less. You're getting negative returns. You are losing fucking out on returns that you already made. I don't know, maybe it's the same word, but there's something in my brain saying there's a distinction. Zero! Lovely to see you. How have you been? How's your week going? We're streaming on a different day, so I'm very happy you could make it anyway. We're still doing this shit. But my voice is, like, I think I'm getting used to it. My voice is not as tired, though I did forget to eat again. But I don't feel faint, so we will be powering through. Surprised to find reading materials like that around here. Were they passing it around as a gag? Or are they actually afraid of Sullivan's Peak around here? Noble must be wary of it, surely. If the peak does exist, they'll be coming up on its fast. Ah, I was right. Okay, when I didn't get the chips right away, I got scared. Noble's entire product line, maybe their entire industry, could go bottoms up if people start to think it's cruel. If Sarah's any indication of where their androids are headed, I could see some people getting uncomfortable. Sarah is very lovable and human. Ooh, you're giving me the advance button. Ooh, motherfucker. Is there anything else? Am I missing something? Ah! Come on, come on. Where were you? Where are you? Ah! An inhaler left out on the desk. Probably a half dozen empty ones in one of the drawers. DAWs? Big inhalers. They're distributed by the company, correct? Oh yeah, HR handles it. They personalize your dosage and prescription and update it based on performance and job fulfillment reviews. Jesus Christ, that remains terrifying. Other corporations do it the same way? Yeah, pretty much. Everyone's trying to keep pace with each other, so can't have your employees losing focus on the job. Could cost you who knows how much in lost efficiency. Lost efficiency. What a terrifying fucking concept. Never let a company assume that they have rights to possible fucking outcomes. Like, give them... Companies will fucking see, like, oh, we'll have a return of this ranging from 60% to 100%, and think if they didn't get 100%, there's something to, like, not that there's something to improve on there, but that something went wrong, because perfection is the only fucking metric that they will relate to their workers, because they don't have to fucking put it against themselves. You know, the guillotine's effective as a cheese-cutting device. There's a more subtle way to say kill people. Can't have your employees lose focus on the... Yeah. Sorry if this is insensitive, but given what happened to David, human beings are not a resource. Louder for the people in the back! But, you know... yeah. I don't know how to twist that. I was trying to twist that into a, like, other resource, because maybe I could eat them, but I don't eat humans. I never have. I'm not that scary a cryptid. They shouldn't be expendable. Oh, God. The fucking... Who was telling the story just recently? There was a VTuber I was watching. Like, one of the popular ones, I think, who were talking about how, like, their ma had, like, worked for a company for a while and got, like, started developing some sort of mental disability that lost their, like, made them more forgetful, made them unable to complete their job. They just got booted. Fucking no retirement, no nothing. Just booted, just gone. Used to their last useful drop. Fucking rough. I think it was like one of the big VTubers, like one of the V Shoujo girls or something like that was talking about it. But it's enough to make you a little want to commit an act of domestic silliness. Are overdoses common in the company? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he says. Overdoses, that is, not hospitalizations or deaths. It's all pretty organized these days. These days? Man, back when I started in consulting, pretty much everyone had an embarrassing story from their first 2 years where they popped a few too many greens and missed the on-ramp. Popped greens? Yeah, used to be pills. Greens to get you going, yellows to keep you there, swallow a red after brushing your teeth, and get into your bunk fast. But yeah, the inhalers are a huge improvement, like going from torches to the light bulb. They sync straight to your personal biomes and adjust dosage in real time. Overdoses are way down. That's great to hear. The trainees under me don't realize how good they've got it. Kids probably won't even have to learn how to purge. Oh, God. Yeah, I fucking know what purging is. I just hoped you meant something different and sci-fi. Yeah, I know, right? All done? You ready to get the ad handled? Thanks for humoring me. Can you have it step into the scanner? As he says. Understood. Cute. Right then, what are we looking at here? Whoa. Yeah, I've disliked this plan since Morgan said it. Like, it's obvious she was kept under the radar, and you're just gonna throw her at this huge fucking company that you are gonna have to fight in law? Like, possibly give them ammo against you? What's all that bit about revealing your hand, Morgan? I guess it's important for us to know as well. It's shared information for everyone at the table, but I don't know, it makes me nervous. There's a lot to unpack here. We theorized that it may have been Asher's pincushion. A pincushion, huh? That would explain some of what I'm reading here. Already irritated, I love her. What language is that on the screen? Tess. You know, Tesseract? All noble products are... Well, pretty much all products, period, are programmed in Tess. Latest version of programming language, built upon the Tenet system... Start of the century, there was much greater variety, but now everyone uses this. Cool. Easy to read and write. Stay compliant. Ooh, I bet that's the most important detail. Now this model, what's it go by? Sarah. This Sarah model has got everything the 16th line has, that's for sure. Organic skin, hybrid muscles, advanced facial processing, and emoting. But there's a lot crammed in here that's still in development, like in the idea phases. Solar cell hair strands, decentralized redundant power, mental and physical overclocking with extended tolerances, data storage so large I can't... No, wow. He had to measure it using... Hell of a poker face. She's so smug, I love her. Monopolizing a programming language, yeah, then you can control how much it's useful for. Apple is creaming their pants. Wait, decryption and signal hijacking? That's hacking? Essentially. Does that mean it could hack its own tenants? Oh? Oh! Inviolable priorities. So, yeah, this is why it doesn't have to obey commands. It doesn't have to fucking do the things that most robots have to do. 10.0 may... Okay. Wait, I want to learn. Originally, the one tenant that could not be removed from any program was the TNT Safety 0, aka Tenant 0 or Tenant 1. Said tenant dictated that the following program could not produce outcomes that would result in harm to a living person. After the decision reached in People v. Volstant's defense contractors, and the resulting widespread adoption of automated dependence in the military and security sectors, this is no longer required, though Tenant 0 may still be added to particularly benign or mundane software as a good luck charm, superstitious ritual, or joke. Woof. Oh no, that's unthinkable, literally, for an ad. For an ad to break its tenants would be like you stepping into traffic or dropping a baby. Even if you're physically capable of it, it's not something you would ever choose to do. Some people do walk into traffic. Psychotics, addicts, the mentally ill. Does that mean that there are androids? Well, no, there aren't crazy androids, so yeah. I guess my analogy doesn't hold up. That's okay. So it can hack itself, but it was given the ability to hack other systems. The industry line is that such a capability could be an option in certain emergency scenarios. Breaking through the firewalls and encryption of surrounding electronics to broadcast directly to police or military channels. Speaking of military, this musculoskeletal setup is drastic. I've never seen this on a consumer model. Can you lift a car or something, Sarah? Most cars. It would depend on the center of gravity. Lady, this Sarah could wrestle a public disturbance walker and come out on top. Those stomping behemoths they bring out for riot suppression? And in terms of computational ability, the estimate says that can't be right. Look, Dawes, I was actually hoping you could tell me something about the software or the metadata. Who worked on it, and when? Ah, right. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. The editing logs have been purged. That doesn't sound very above the board. Sorry, I just can't tell you anything about who worked on Sarah or when. Any chance you can restore those logs? Not here, not with this machine. I'd need the computers that were actually used for programming this model. Any idea where those would be? Sarah? I cannot answer that question with any accuracy. Had a feeling you might say that. Ads, right? Sorry, I can tell you that the code is unique. There's hints of the A16 in there, a few of the same conclusions. It's just Dr. Asher or whoever took very different paths to get there. So Sarah has even less in common with every other android on the inside. Sorry, didn't expect to hit a dead end there. Not at all. You've been very helpful. Can we still get the registration done? Yeah, no problem. We've got the software and forms all set up here. Occasionally we let a new business partner bring one home fresh from the oven, you know? Oven? Gross. Alright, a few basic questions then. Who's going to be the official owner of this unit? She is. As it says, unless the will disagrees, it's my responsibility. Right then. You fine with the designation Sarah? We could set it to anything you like. Well, actually... Never mind. Sarah will do fine. Okay, this part's all standard. Civilian model, address, contact info I can get from your crumbs. Do you want to reset to factory defaults? Could clear up a lot of quirks. Not right now. Keep it in our back pocket. The last thing, then, is the grading. I'm rating 23 tenants here. Nothing too far out of the ordinary. 23? That's higher than I expected. Talking with it. That's higher than I expected talking with it. She seems more malleable than that. Don't blame yourself. Guessing tenant count from outward appearance has become a crapshoot. Not like it used to be. Used to be they only had 3 tenants total, and every unit had to have them. Don't erase the baby, right? Morgan, don't be the cruel murderer. I know you are. Then came the first accidents, and the first lawsuits, then the hearings, and the legislature, and the demand for more tenants. A tenant making sure ads couldn't endanger the state. A tenant stating that ads wouldn't divulge private information without prior consent. There was a campaign calling for a tenant to weigh child and adult lives equally during risk assessment. There was a campaign calling for a tenant to do the opposite. Companies want their asses covered. Customers want guarantees. There was never much incentive to deny a requested tenant, so the list just ballooned. Until the military entered the market in full force. Excuse me. You sound like you don't approve. I wouldn't go that far. They needed their ads to be able to pull the trigger when ordered to, without clearing 5,000 lines of bloated, hard-coded decision points to get there. I get that. But since the armies are the only ones using tech with bare minimum tenants, all the best, least cluttered, most elegant code is only used for war games. It's not very romantic. Well, not like I was on the jury. Department of Advanced Defense Projects versus Zenith Dynamics. The Supreme Court sided with the military's request and set a new precedent that every other army around the world would race to meet. Changing tenants from a mandated list at the root of every ad source code to a choose-your-own checklist. It's funny, ads with the most tenants, they're so locked up you can't have a conversation with them. And outside the armed forces, the only ads with single-digit tenant counts are just vacuuming floors. The only impressive ones, like the one you've got here, fall somewhere in the middle. Sorry, went on a tangent there. Only thing left is the evaluation. What gets evaluated? Total financial worth, for insurance purposes. Yeah, the insurance companies made sure we had very accurate algorithms for this. No room for human error, they insisted, with no sense of irony. Wow. I mean, I knew it was custom, but what price could they have possibly? That's a lot of digits. You should know. These formula are pretty conservative. You should know these formula are pretty conservative with their estimates. Stingy, even. If Sarah's really David's last and greatest work, they say some things are priceless, but when you force an insurance algorithm to pick a number... totals to a very large sum. Thanks. Try not to get any scratches on it, I guess. You spoke differently back there. With Dawes, you spoke like he did. It seemed like I copied his accent. You seemed to mirror his affect, his tone. It's called being friendly. What's your point? It was just an observation. You can choose to keep those to yourself, you know. No tenant required. Why were you so concerned about registering me in the first place, Adonai? For the same reason I wouldn't drive around in a car without a license plate? Oh, it's illegal. Got it, understood. Any cop, or even just well-placed camera, could have spotted your barcode and seen that it wasn't set with any actual data. And then they would have arrested me. And then they would have thrown me in the slammer? No, they would have arrested me and put you in an evidence locker. An android can't get arrested? People get arrested. Property gets seized. And then smashed. Great, you put us over the weight limit. I did no such. Morgan, counselor, your presence has been requested on the upper floors. Who's asking? Vice President of Android Futures, Helen Jung. Whoa. That's okay. Shouldn't have assumed I still had the opening move. Tell her I'll be right up. I'll redirect your elevator now. Taking control of your elevator is very convenient, forceful, as if Noble is trying to directly steer your investigation. If Noble wanted to shut me down, they wouldn't bother to be subtle. I suppose they could simply refuse to cooperate, or just let the elevator drop. I wonder if other people wouldn't think of that option, and only because she kills people does she realize, like, occasionally how easy it is when she puts herself in a position to be killed. She's like, oh, there's like nothing stopping them, so I just kind of have to hope they choose not to. Executive Office, Jung. Ooh, love the makeup. Right. Speaking first is a sign of weakness, is it? And here I thought I could avoid wading into a swamp of corporate pretend power dynamics. I'll speak first. I don't have time for this inverted staring contest. Enjoying the view? I always liked this time of day. Not too muggy for you? No. I never liked a clear blue sky. It always seemed cold to me. You're in luck. The sky gets more colorful every year as the air quality drops. Childish, isn't it? Marveling at the small sheen of rainbow dancing on the surface of a massive oil spill. Apologies for waxing poetic. God, I hate you already. I'm so excited to interact with you. It's been a very unusual 24 hours around here. Dr. Jung? Just Miss is fine. Miss Jung. I get the feeling you didn't bring me up here to talk about the weather. No, I brought you up here to express my condolences. I'm very sorry for your loss. Thank you, though I could say the same. I know you and David worked together for many years. Yes, we did. But as much as I'd like to just drop everything and process, the company wheels don't stop spinning for anything. Or anyone. Was Dawes of any help? She sent him, trying to be helpful, or just trying to control the narrative? He was great. But that must mean... excuse me. But that must mean you know why I'm here. I don't want to make assumptions. No need. I'll be explicit. I'm here as an officer of the court, which means I'm bound by law to document every rock I turn over, and every person I speak to. Yes, the lawyers made that all very clear. Lawyers, you have an android? It's not one of ours. You can tell that quickly. Got all the faces memorized? It's easy enough to remember the major archetypes we use, yes. If you're nuts about your work, maybe. It's a recent acquisition. Very recent, in fact. One of David's last requests, apparently. David asked you to take it. I've been told that you've been David's estate. You've been to David's estate already. The police gave me full access to the scene. Then you know that he wasn't alone last night. Yes, there was a single witness who met with him and called emergency services when he fainted. I was that witness. Oh boy. Undoubtable, just for you, I will hydrate. What does her being our witness mean? Does it mean it's more likely the witness is suspicious or less? I mean, she's not grieving, but neither did we openly. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Really? Obviously. There aren't that many people David would bother meeting with in person. Let alone welcoming them into his home and offering them a drink. I always knew that Jung is his superior on paper, if not in fame. And I knew that the witness had Executive Plan 3 insurance, so they had to be higher up than David. Well then, do your lawyers know we're having this conversation? Of course. They're pulling their hair out about it as we speak. I can't imagine why. The police cleared you. And you were well within your rights to ask for some privacy, given the high-profile nature of all that's happened. So why call me up here? Why cut through all the red tape when your lawyers painstakingly hid you behind? Eventually you, or some clever lawyer like you, would get the record opened. Through legal means or otherwise. Intricate process. Too early for me to make any decisive assessment. Yeah, I suppose so. I don't know. I think it couldn't have been her, because she doesn't fuck with nanomachines, and I've very harshly assumed that is the cause of death. I think she's going to be a valuable witness to question, though. Septis, hello! Welcome to our little strem. I hope you've been doing well. We're debating if this woman is capable of murder. I'm saying no. Still, that would have taken time. Time you could use to get ahead of what would be the biggest PR hurdle Noble's ever seen. Touché. And you're not thinking of it. You are grieving. It can't be her. So perhaps the truth of the matter is that I simply didn't want to hide. David was my colleague for several years. If I were in your shoes, I would have questions as well. You're doing this for my sake? No, my reasons are purely selfish. I'm only hoping that talking to someone whose job isn't to defend me from all consequences might prove therapeutic. If she wants to play confessional, that's fine by me. Everyone is capable of murder. I mean, capable, maybe, but like, some people are especially excited by it, like us. But is that really all that's going on here? Why don't you start from the beginning, then? You went to his home last night. Yes, at around 7:30 p.m. The building's penumbra captured all of that quite clearly. He fell ill around 8 p.m., so you spent half an hour together. Why the late call? In person? We had an intense discussion yesterday afternoon. David never came in on Saturdays, and I didn't want to spend the weekend glaring at him through screens, so I visited, and he let me in, and we talked. About the good old days, if you can believe that. Back when we were both new to the company, eager to make a name for ourselves. How long ago was that? 7 or 8 years ago? Miss Jung? Putting a number on it, it doesn't sound that long ago, but it feels... We spent a while like that, just talking. He was lively and sharp. I never would have thought that a few minutes later, that he would be dead. That he would commit suicide in front of me. A firm reply. What happened? 8:15, he said he wanted to toast. He got up, walked back into his workshop, and then he must have went down into his basement to get us a bottle. I checked some messages in the meantime, enjoyed the view. In other words, she stayed on camera. He came back with a bottle of whiskey and 2 plastic cups. We drank and talked. He got quieter, spoke less. I thought he was just getting drunk. I'm trying it. A brave soul for testing out our commands. Thank you very much. I'm good at things occasionally. And we have that. We have follower alerts. We have all that good shit. We're living in the lap of luxury. Now all I need to do is make the Discord server actually notify you, or actually have roles-based notifications, and to actually make some fucking shorts. And we'll be golden, pony boy. I didn't get worried until he started to fall asleep. You tried to wake him. He wasn't responding. I tried to shake him awake, but he didn't seem... I left him and ran to the kitchen to use the security system. Didn't think to use your phone? No. I suppose I didn't. But it worked out. The Penumbra's emergency protocols summoned a VTOL straight to his helipad with one button press. When I returned to the parlor, he was limp. I moved him to the floor as delicately as I could. He had a heartbeat, but... Oh, so he did pass out in his chair. I just did what I could, until they arrived. You went with him to the hospital, I take it. Yes, they insisted. They checked my vitals and ran a tox screen, which came back clean. So did David's, for all the good it did him. I wasn't paying close attention to what they were saying at that point, but I'm sure they ran through every step of the CCE SOP. That's what they're paid to do. You seem certain that it was suicide. Yes. Why? As I said, he got quieter as time passed, and he spoke less. But the last thing he said to me, the last clear thing he said, was that he was happy ending it here. Said he was content. And he downed his glass after that. Oh. He drank every last drop. Does that sound like David Asher to you? Curious, restless, perfectionist David? No, I guess it doesn't. Woof. Oh my god. You said CCE Standard Operating Procedure a moment ago. What is that? CCE stands for Counter Corporate Espionage, which is just industry doublespeak for corporate espionage. Only used in self-defense, you understand? So Noble anticipates employees at your level getting poisoned? They give us all kinds of CCE training. Subtly, of course, usually disguised as the itinerary as usually disguised on the itinerary, holy shit, that took me a second, as leadership workshops or psychiatric evaluations. They train you to expect to get murdered at these leadership workshops. Murder is fairly rare at our level. Most likely they'll want us too sick to work. Let us drain company resources in a hospital bed while our position sits vacant. That's smart. Like snipers purposely avoiding vital areas to strain the enemy's medical resources. That's terrible. Like snipers purposely avoiding vital areas in order to strain the enemy's medical resources. Sarah is starting to remind me a lot of my favorite cop lady. Forgot her name. But you know who I'm talking about. Angry lady. Who can't help but speak my mind. That's nothing compared to what they want to turn when they want to turn an asset. Feel ill for the rest of your life with an undiagnosable malady, or become our mole and we'll send you the antidote every 2 weeks. That's a nasty piece of work. It's a nasty line of work, consulting. I'm sorry? That's just what they call it. Can't exactly put corporate spy on your CV. So every consultant I've met at a cocktail party was actually... It depends. Did they say that they're consultants? Or did they say that they were in consulting? How the hell am I supposed to remember? So do your people think that what happened to David was a deliberate attack? Noble's competitors have been trying to get to David for years, and that's the timescale their plans operate on. If this was an attack from a rival corporation, the company would have seen it coming, and they'd probably have struck first. Interesting. So what about Noble then? As VP of Android Futures, you're David's superior, aren't you? That's correct. Didn't you join the company at around the same time? David was always more interested in his work than he was in climbing the ladder. He didn't like playing with the corporate politics game. So was he unpopular around here? Not unpopular, no. Not the great Dr. David Asher. Misunderstood, perhaps. How so? He could be blunt, demanding, some might say. He wasn't trying to be, it's just... Not everyone could work at the same pace as he did, for as long as he did. Even with the whole company huffing those inhalers, they couldn't keep pace with David. Speaking of which, I don't see any at Jung's desk. Maybe it's just not something you leave out in the open at her level. Excuse me. So you would say that his work-life balance was... Balance implies the two are at odds with one another. We use work-life harmony here at the company. Yeah, I bet you fucking do. Fascinating. So was he in harmony? No. David's always had plenty of suitors, but He was never willing to put the time in. But I'm sure you're more knowledgeable than that I am on that subject. What are you implying, Jung? Right. What do you mean? I had to help him draft a lot of apology notes over the years for misunderstandings and double bookings. Scandalous. Curious. Okay, let's talk about the cups. Because Animate 16 relates directly to Sarah, so I want to keep those two together. I've been curious about this ever since I saw the scene. Why the plastic cups? There's a story there. David and I got hired around the same time, under similar circumstances. Headhunted while finishing our higher education. During recruiting, the company claimed to want us badly, but in practice our actual authority was inexperienced and overpaid. You must have been extremely unpopular. You don't mince words. We didn't either, back then. We were loudly trying to convince our superiors that their entire sales model for androids was antiquated and self-defeating. The two of them made the one-point doctrine? That's not the story I've heard in Noble commercials and Noble-sponsored media. And come to think of it, it's not a story I ever heard from David himself. Interesting. So maybe she is interested in him being fucking out of the picture so she can relay all of his improvements onto herself. We had this deadline, self-imposed, but still a deadline. We wanted to get our pitch to the president of international sales by end of day. 7 p.m. rolls around and people start filtering out. David still has his head buried in diagrams and sales figures. Imagine a technical man like him, a programmer trying to make a sales pitch. The clock hit 9 o'clock and even the zombies start heading home. I turn to David, tell him that it's not gonna happen. We're nowhere near finished and the day's long since been over. He looked at me like I'm the only other person on a sinking boat and I've just stopped pitching water, and he says, "The president lives on the other side of the globe. We've still got all night until his end of day." Oh, what dedication. We wrapped up at 4 in the morning, just us and the cleaning staff. Back then, only half of them were ads. He finally sends the message, and I'm ready to collapse. I've got nothing. We stared blankly at his inbox for the next 40 minutes, hoping that the harsh light would give us the energy to work through the next day. And we got a response. It wasn't long, but it showed he was interested. I had been turned down so many times before then, ignored and placated, passed up and ghosted, but together, David and I, we'd finally gotten a win. So David asked if I've got anything to drink. I've got a bottle of some swill in a cabinet on my desk, but he doesn't want to drink from the bottle, says he wants to toast. So we sat there at 5:19 in the morning, toasting awful vodka to one another in cups we grabbed from the break room. That's unimaginably cute. Toasting our first victory against the corporate beast. Between the lack of sleep and the drinking and the next day at work was hell. Sounds like a good memory. Plastic cups and liquor. That was our little ritual. So I didn't think twice when he presented me with my cup. It was ceremony for us. Animate 16. The A16 only entered production this year, correct? Correct. Pre-orders started last holiday and we began shipping in the first quarter. I understand that you were instrumental in the success of Warm Androids. I played my part supervising the launch, yes. Weren't you the one who designed serotonin, the factor that enabled communication between synthetic and organic parts? I'm surprised you've heard of that. I did lead that project, yes, but that was years ago. At the time, serotonin was little more than a novelty, a dead end. It wasn't until David took the reins on the A16 that we found a use for it. Took the reins? He was the lead programmer on limb coordination, facial expressions, exhaustion parameters, and he designed the synthetic nerves that made all of that possible. David did all of that? That's a lot more than just programming. Was he always so gifted in that many fields? I'm actually... Hold on. I'm gonna take a quick second. Sorry. Okay. Oh, shit. Did he fill those roles on the A14 or A15? Oh, thank you, Undoubtable. No, he used to stick steadfast to his role as a software architect. That was his field of expertise, and he didn't wander far. But 2 or 3 years back, he started sitting in on other departments, taking notes. Soon he was joining the discussion, proposing new ideas, and eventually they came to follow his lead. Just like that. Just like that. So he just applied himself, and soon he was leading other departments? That's the kind of genius that Dr. David Asher was. Maybe they weren't paying him enough. The company provided the most, of course, but the entire industry benefited from his vision and leadership. His loss will be felt for years. Sarah. So this android, Sarah. Even Dawes couldn't find any real detail on where it came from. It's not in any of our systems? I'm afraid not. Did Dawes ever talk to you or anyone else at the company about or did David, ever talk to you or anyone else at the company about a pet project? Pet? No, he never gave me any indication like that. And if he didn't talk to me about it, I seriously doubt he confided in anyone else at the company. David didn't trust anyone on the chain. Anyone higher on the chain than himself and anyone below him. Frankly, they couldn't possibly hope to give him advice. He never mentioned me. No, never. Right? Androids don't come cheap. You never heard about him requisitioning parts or resources? There were never any discrepancies with his company credit card? The company's accountants are mirthless. Even by industry standards, they wouldn't humor anybody. Not even David Asher. If they had ever detected financial discrepancies, there would have been an uproar loud enough you could hear it in the mailroom. You have a mailroom? Why are you excited about that? Right? Gotta encourage our poor little android love. Not since the 30s, just a figure of speech. He couldn't have taken resources from the company without leaving a record. But no one would deny Dr. David Asher information. He would have been able to obtain all the necessary data to build his own android. Then, with enough time and money, he could privately purchase the raw materials himself. I don't understand it. It must have taken him years to build Sarah. He wasn't doing anything illegal. Except the hacking stuff. So why keep it secret? I don't know. But he was private, and a perfectionist. Perhaps he simply wasn't proud of his result. Oh, I can hear her little robot heart break. Could be. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. I'm sure this has been a difficult day for you. A difficult day for all of us. A message from Fran. I'm running out of leads to chase. The brat better have good news. Are you really going to take this to court? That's my plan. The circumstances may be irregular, but I'm still defending a client from a criminal charge. It's my responsibility to argue that he's not guilty of what he's been accused of. And is that what you believe? That he didn't commit suicide? I guess I haven't decided what I believe. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna take this transition phase to take a brief bathroom break. I'll return. Whew. Friends, I am afraid. Do I have a channel? Oh, probably exists a hero. Thank you. Yes, I have it, and I try to at least post the VODs by the next Wednesday before I stream again. I try not to have 2 VODs on my backlog. Eventually I'll get a little faster at it, but I'm still trying to find time to make fucking shorts out of them. It's kind of difficult. I understand what Tia was complaining about the one time I was talking to her. No, I'm scared, guys. I'm looking over at the snake that I am snake sitting, and I'm looking at my cat stare pretty intently at the glass, just standing on the fucking... I mean, he's not active. He's an old man. I really doubt he's gonna do anything fucking silly. He's just old man watching, but I don't know. It's just like... he's fucking looking at her. I guarantee... No, yeah. They're both fine. They're gonna be weird little neighbors. Honestly, Milo doesn't have the physical dexterity to get up there. All right, in transit. Would you kindly slow the hell down? I'm sorry, Adonai. Was I walking too quickly for you? That wasn't walking. That was speed walking. Up 2 flights of stairs. It's very different. Speed walking? Sounds like a powerful technique. Is it like the Zenjiao? What are you talking about, Sarah? Just let me catch my breath for a minute. Adonai, is it possible that you are out of shape? I love them. No. But since we left the cab, your heart rate has... I'm not wearing the right clothes. Or the right shoes. Is that so? Yes. Also, I didn't stretch or hydrate, and the sun's reaching its zenith. That would have been several hours ago. Do you mean the air temp? You said it would be a short walk from street level, so I prepared myself, mentally, for a short walk. Then you took off like a rocket, and you didn't mention we'd have to go upstairs. I love how prideful Morgan is. I love it so much. Are you sure this place is even back here? The reviews online were quite clear. It's worth the trouble of finding it. Maybe if you're a mountain climber. When I sent Fran hunting for a musician in David's circles, I expected them to bring me someone from the city orchestra or a jazz club. The champagne flute and teacup kind of musician. But this is the tequila and neon part of town. It should be in view if we turn. Adonai, be careful. Of what? It's a stray. And it's bearing its fangs, too. Ooh. It could be carrying diseases. You should relax. Adonai, it's growling. It's not growling at me. See? So it's just me that it doesn't like. Too much static. How'd you get it to calm down? It's an animal, not a monster. It wants to be calm. Oh, what a sentence. I'm willing to bet she thinks of humans similarly. Do you like animals? What kind of cold-blooded freak doesn't like animals? Morgan, I love you so fucking much. Do you have a pet? No, never have. Why not? Because I don't want to take care of a pet. That seems counterintuitive to me. Well, it makes perfect sense to me, and I don't need it to make sense to you. Right? I'm a cold-blooded freak for completely unrelated reasons. But you notice you're only this talkative when it's just the 2 of us. Just an observation. You shy or something? Did David program you to have android anxiety? It's generally only appropriate to respond to comments that are addressed to oneself. Today, I have rarely been addressed directly by people other than you. Right? They're revealing so much while being so fun to voice out. In other words, you're shy. That is not what I... Can I try petting it? There's no law against it. Oh my god, I love them. Oh my god, I love them! I'm freaking out! I need art of these two having like sibling energy so badly. Like that scene of her like being scared of the dog. It'd be very cute. I bet there's fan art somewhere. I might search that up. This is the establishment. Now to see if Isaac Porter is habitual as Fran claims. Do you think Father was close with this man? This man who you've never met? I think he was close with him, yeah. At some point. I had some help making that deduction. Fran saw that their metadata showed a significant cooling of interaction between the two of them, particularly over the last month. But Fran also saw a phone call between the two last night. Whoa. That's bad. So they were close. Do you think they were sleeping together? That is completely inappropriate for me or anyone to speculate about. Inappropriate? Adonai, it's only I'm getting a very important text message from my private investigator. Excuse me. Oh my god, Morgan's a little shy. Did you catch that killer yet? No. What the hell? I sent you his position. I'm at I'm at his position. I haven't spoken to Porter yet. Anyway, there's no reason to suspect him right now. Lame. Surprised you're invested all of a sudden. Isn't David Asher a corporate sellout in your eyes? Everyone's a corporate sellout. But Asher gets respect. If I'm a demolitions expert, he's like a really good architect. That's almost sweet, I think. Asher started out working in a cube. So in the architect analogy, by today's standards, he's like, I don't know. As a kid, he built all his bricks by hand. Or something. You know that lit homework can help you with forming analogies. Eat this analogy. 10 guesses as to what that is. Did that come through or did the characters break? It's supposed to be a guy giving you the finger. Never mind, she did it for us. I take it Cube is a programming language. What's special about it? Pretty much anything coded in the last 20 years is web-based. You code with the assumption that you'll always be connected. So you can depend on having fat libraries of references to lean on. And if something does go wrong, your errors get reported to you automatically. But not Cube. You can look it up. But basically, Cube was originally for robotics and the like. Machinery. Stuff that had to operate in mines. Under the ocean. Middle of nowhere fields with zero signal service. So Cube had to be self-sufficient. How rugged. Whether Asher learned Cube anyway. Where did Asher learn Cube anyway? It's older than dirt. From like the 40s. I don't know. I think his father had a machine shop or something. Vague. Yeah, well, David didn't like to talk about his family. Interesting. Ooh, who's that silhouette? Is that who we're about to talk to? Was that the really hot person in the trailer? What did your private investigator have to say, Adonai? Not telling. Let's appraise before we talk. The stage for the talent, pretty close to the floor. Guess it fits with the whole round table aspect of this place. Everyone's on more or less equal footing, dancing in the dark, once you get past the bouncer. Do you think they might have met here? David and Porter? I can see David walking in. I can't see David walking in here. Because you found the walk so challenging. Because it's too loud to relax. And not dark enough to be anonymous. I see. What's that face? You got an opinion to share? The atmosphere's not bad in here, but the music isn't quite... I'll find you a survey to fill out before we leave. What kind of music does an android even like? Early 21st century punk rock. Sarah, I'm adopting you. I'm hiding you away from everyone who would ever harm you. I'm loosing you on the fucking corporate industry as a military destructo bot. You're so cool. Is that just you, or does that go for all androids? I haven't met all androids. I can't speak for them. Wonder what they'd say. If they're smart, they'd say the music peaked early 21st century punk rock. Debate settled. I'm dying. A bar stocked full of colorful selections and busy bartenders. Hope this isn't the kind of club you can order food in. Only time bar food is any good is when you're drunk enough to forget the taste in the gap between chewing and swallowing. So you can eat things. Yes, I can. What? Like Android food? There is no such product. So what do androids eat? Online user guides for Noble's Warm models clarify that they don't eat anything in the traditional sense. They get their energy from electrical charging, usually wireless. Whenever they need to eat is to replenish specific vitamins and electrolytes. Sounds a lot like what mod users go through. There's sports drinks and energy bars. She has her own preferences in music. She's a real girl. I'm a real girl! She's so sweet. I would die for her. If Morgan betrays her, I'm gonna be really, really upset. And charger separation anxiety. According to the net, warm androids can ingest nutrient-rich processed carbohydrate pellets if they need to forego electrical charging long-term. Processed pellets? You mean like kibble? Like dog food? No, it is not like dog food at all. Can you buy it from the pet store? It seems that you can. How is this something you have to look up anyway? Because I've always just eaten whatever father gave me. Like what? Marbled beef. Never hydroponic avocados. Foie gras. What the fuck? Never hydroponic is a sourcing food exclusively from farms using natural sunlight. Ew. Wow. That sort of thing. Jesus. I am not paying for any of that. Yeah, no shit. We couldn't if we wanted to. That one over there. He matches the photo Fran sent. Should I approach now or look around some more? I think we got everything, right? I'm gonna say we did. Ah! Be still, my heart. Oh yeah, that's him, all right. The man of my dreams? Looks like he's killing time before his set tonight. Are you unsure how to proceed, Adonai? I'm sure that you need to hang back. As for me, I'll play it cool. Am I good at playing it cool? I don't want to spook him. I'll play it casual. Hey there. Hey. Some sick beats out there on the floor, right? Sick beats? Yeah, or whatever, man. So we can't play it cool. That answers my question. The hell? Are you a fucking cop or something? This isn't a cop bar. You aren't really dressed like a cop. God damn, you're media, aren't you? Fucking vultures, man. Oh my god. Perhaps I should start over. My name's Morgan. I was David's friend. I'm currently his lawyer. Can we talk? Not here. Thanks, Isaac. Ugh, wrong move. Don't thank me yet. I might just sit here, shut my mouth, and stick you with my tab. So what kind of lawyer are you? What kind of friend? I'm his defense attorney. Think you missed the bus on that then, yeah? And I'm a friend that needs to know what happened yesterday. Doesn't everyone? Try somewhere else, friendly lawyer. I haven't seen him in weeks. You might not have seen him, but we both know that you spoke to him over the phone yesterday. Only a short time before he died. How the hell? Isaac, it's pretty obvious that you don't want this particular spotlight to linger on you any longer than necessary, so why don't we cut to the chase? No lies, no playing coy. Fine. Sarah. Yes, Adonai. The hell? Is that thing transmitting? I am not streaming any data, no. Porter doesn't seem to recognize Sarah either. One more person David was keeping secrets from. I need to record everything for the court. Fine. You two were together, is that correct? We were together. I ended it. Ah, so they were fucking. Yesterday. Oh. Care to elaborate? Our entire relationship? Look, you can tell me everything once, and I can get it on record. Or you can hear the same questions over and over again from the next 1,000 different cops and Megs looking for the next 3 months. We met in a bar. I had seen him come in a few times, each time with someone else. Each time talking with his mouth, but not looking with his eyes. It ticked me off. Scribbling on napkins and letting his single gin and tonic sweat onto the table for 2 hours. His dates would go to the bathroom or take a call and slip out the back. One of them didn't make it 10 minutes. And he'd still sit there the rest of the night, unfazed. Couldn't tell if he was oblivious or stupid or shameless or the most confident man in the world. And he ticked me off. One night, things were slow, and my set had been canceled, and his date hadn't even bothered to think of an excuse before bailing, so I asked him why he had insisted on coming here night after night, just to ignore vapid people he wasn't interested in at a shitty bar with drinks he didn't like. And he just said, because I like your music. Aw, man, that ticked me off. He was cute, early on. Him being so passionate about work, I could barely pretend to understand. And I liked that we gave each other space, you know? Felt like we were being mature, or whatever. Until... There was no until. No one day where everything turned sour. But at some point, I started to understand where his priorities were, and how I ranked in them. Like I said, he was passionate about his work. I just wrongly assumed that he would also be passionate about me at some point. Aw. This hurts. So I pulled away a little, wanted to see if he'd notice, if he'd miss me. Testing him. Like that isn't the biggest red flag in the world. He never budged. I could ignore him for days and he wouldn't be the least bit ashamed to see me. If I picked a fight, he'd never get angry or upset, he'd just apologize. He didn't want to fight with me. Guess he was never invested enough to bother. It was my mistake. I watched him sit there all those long nights, not giving a shit when people walked away, and still I had this stupid idea that somehow, for whatever reason, I would be different. That I would be special. But I wasn't, so I ended it. Last night, I called him. Didn't expect he'd pick up. I had everything prepared to leave a message with an assistant or an ad or whatever. But he answered. First ring. Without hesitation, shame, or awkwardness. And that ticked me off. So I told him exactly how valued he had made me feel for the last few months. I told him exactly how insignificant I felt as the boyfriend of the illustrious Dr. David Asher. And what did he say? He apologized. And then he asked me if that was all I called to tell him. Woof. Woof. We're of the same mind. I hung up after that. Spent the rest of the night wrapped in warm disdain for him and his coldness. He had made that easy for me. I went to sleep hurt, but clean, ready for something new. And then this morning I wake up to see that my ex killed himself not 2 hours after he let me walk out of his life without so much as a don't. What the hell, man? What the hell, David? And now, you're just the tip of an iceberg of lawyers and reporters and buzzards. Parasites who want to hear about the man who sent David Asher over the edge. I never wanted to be his last lifeline or the straw that broke his back. I just wanted to be his goddamn boyfriend. Turns out that was asking too much. It's yet to be determined whether David committed suicide. You serious? You don't have all the facts. And you do? And one of them point to anything else? Thought so. Thanks for your time. I'll let you get back to it. That's it? No summons? The court has no need for you to retell a sad story like that. The court, huh? Sorry to bother you at work. Sarah, let's go. Your discography is very impressive. Yeah, thanks. And your range is remarkable. So it pained me to see that all your works in the last quarter have been so melancholy. I think Well, what the hell would you know about any of that? What's the matter? Can't find the words? Need to steal them from somewhere else first? Butcher them before shitting them back out? I was not trained on any data sets that... Nah, pardon me. My mistake, really. Not your fault you're only standing here because rich prick nerds were allowed to rob the world blind for most of the century. Sarah, we're leaving. Wow, that hurt physically and emotionally. What the hell was that about? He was under the false impression that I was programmed using a massive automated learning model, an early 21st century. Not that. Why'd you talk to him? I wanted to. I just felt that I should say something to him. A word of advice. People don't want comfort from strangers, especially when they're androids. They want it from people they want it from. Coming from anywhere else, it's just corn syrup on a parched tongue. Doesn't matter how sweet it is, they'll just start gagging. You know a lot about people, don't you, Adonai? Compared to you, I'm a goddamn savant. Come on, there's not much time left. Is there still somewhere you want to investigate? Somewhere I need to return to, actually. Porter was right. As things stand, I don't have any evidence that could establish an alternate interpretation of the facts. But if there did exist hard evidence that could prove his death wasn't a suicide, there's only one place I could find it at this point. Where? Right? Oh my god, I love her so much. Noble Employee Housing Building. Ooh! Okay. Is this gonna be the girl we know? The peppy one? The basement. Oh, this is where we got her. Sure you don't want another look at the scene of the crime? Or at the crime scene? I'm all out of time. Gotta approach this from another angle. The other angle. The other angle? You know, inductive versus deductive. Flip the chessboard and all that. Haven't you ever read a mystery novel? I've seen mystery films. Well, let's see if you paid any attention then. What killed David Asher? Poison. 10 points. There's a point system? Now, how did that poison get into his bloodstream? He must have ingested it orally. And how do we know that? The medical examiner found no injection marks or wounds. And if he had inhaled it? Inhaled it? Why? Leave the whys to someone who actually understands them. I won't be able to understand anything if I don't practice. Practice by answering my question. I suppose it's possible, but highly unlikely. He would have found a delivery system for it in the building, like an inhaler. Right. An airborne poison is either shoved in your face or sprayed over a wide area, and no one around David has shown any kind of symptoms, so all we're left with is oral intake, eliminating the impossible. What's next, Adonai? Jung's corroborated statement was that David didn't exhibit any irregular symptoms or behavior until he started drinking that night, and the police didn't find anything unusual in any of the food or drink in his home. Except for his cup. The results were inconclusive. Jung was drinking from the same bottle and the same type of cup, but didn't get sick. We have to conclude then that David's cup alone was poisoned. That all seems logical, and consistent with the police's theory of suicide. So why are we down here? Minus 10 points. Back to 0? Sarah being, like, way too focused on the point system is the most relatable thing in this fucking game. David left the parlor, came back with whiskey and 2 cups. Jung told us as much. Right? And apparently the cameras upstairs support her story. So we have to conclude then that he got them both from this bar. Better, 5 points. Did he also get poison from the cabinet? The police have been in here since we left. According to their ARCS files, they didn't find anything that matches that poison down here. So the poison, somehow, went straight into his drinking cup then. I need to flip this around again. But if you turn something 360 degrees, you're just back to... If I were the persecution, what would I want more than anything? proof that David knowingly added the poison himself. He wouldn't do that. And you can make that claim because there's no video evidence to contradict you. How long was David off camera? From 7:36 p.m. to 7:40 p.m. when he left the parlor to get liquor from this bar. So if we had David on camera for those 4 minutes and he didn't poison himself in that time, he would have had a perfect alibi for the crime, proving his innocence. But Ed and I, we don't have footage of that. There are no security cameras down there. I think there are. Sarah herself maybe recorded something? This whole building is coated head to toe in Penumbra security systems, courtesy of Noble. Every console, every corner, every Android on every floor, it's all plugged into Penumbra. Except that. That panel is manufactured by Cotter Security Systems. Why would David put a console for a different security system in exactly one corner of his penthouse? I've never given it much thought. Well, it's been bothering me all day. But my curiosity alone can't scale a 64-digit wall. You mean signal hijacking, or whatever you want to call it. Have you tried it before? It is illegal and unnecessary. Father would not have installed hidden cameras in his own home. At the end of the day, I can't make you do anything. Well, actually I probably can, now that you're registered to me. But aren't you the one who wanted to prove his innocence? Eliminate the impossible. I will need your express verbal command. Not like David can press charges against us at this point. Do it. Did you really need me to say that? For the purposes of record keeping? Yes. Jesus Christ. I've gotten past the 64-digit code, and I have found cameras. Ooh, shit! Let's go, let's go, let's go! There are a number of them embedded in the room's walls and ceilings. As you theorize, they are on a separate network from the rest of the building. Where are they feeding to, if not the Penumbra system? Behind my hibernation unit. A false wall in the back of the safe. I don't understand. Why would Father possibly have a hidden system of cameras inside his own home? Beats me! He was brilliant, and more than a little odd. Throwing a little money and odd becomes eccentric. I think. She's clearing her conscious while abiding by the logic of her identity. By recording, Morgan? Or are you referring to something else? I don't. What the hell was he thinking? What was he afraid of? Oh, regarding permissions. I see. She's acting the part of herself. I don't know. I just really like the phrase clearing her conscious while abiding by the logics of her identity, but I'm not sure my brain is fully grasping it. Why didn't he come to me for... Time short. Gather facts now and leave the computation for later. Okay. So. I'm going to take this moment to pause. We're going to have a fun little moment between us where I, once again, eat food in front of the camera. It's gonna be real awkward, and god damn it, my model's not moving. Why is my model not moving? Motherfucker. Ugh, I really gotta keep an eye on that thing better. Alright. Hold on. I'm gonna be eating, so if you hear crunching, I'm sorry. Have that in common? Do you mean like that they both sort of play themselves? Maruto, you bitch. Please. You gotta tell me what you're eating. You don't, but I like being nosy. Any lurkers want to tell me what they're eating? This is gonna be even more awkward and silent, and I'm gonna stare at the camera. I suppose I could, like, put on a genuine break screen, but I like staring awkwardly at you. And you get to talk to me. Because I was the one too foolish to feed my mortal form, and now Moth can't perform. I know form rhymes with perform, but it feels like cheating. I wonder why perform has form in it. Is it like a root word, or is it just... I looked up my name on Urban Dictionary today. Didn't know you could do that. They called me a bitch. It was like, yeah, sure, she's a fuck up, but she doesn't mean to fuck up. And I'm like, what the hell did I ever do to you? It also called me nice, which is sweet, and good at sports, which is wrong. Super loud, can barely hear your voice. Interesting. Oh, why is... For some reason, Warudo is playing the sound of the game, which does not make sense. Interesting. Yeah, I just turned it down, but it's weird that it's doing that at all. I might try and fuck with that later. Maybe there's a better way of, like, because the only thing the Warudo sound thing is there for is for the bug noises that occur. Anyway, in case no one was hearing, I said things. You know, it's honestly not worth it. I'm just yapping. I'm just filling the air. But hello, South Omen. I assume I'm in your headphones. I'm in your head. Eat that screwdriver. I don't know. Impulses. Impulses. I never consider how much talking, like, really actually wears through your body, you know? Because I'm eating the same amount I normally do. I had a small meal, but just talking for this long, my body is just like, you need sustenance. It's like, what? I'm just pushing air. Like, it's filling the room with hot air. Come on, guys. My lovely partner and Moth's strange roommate made me food, and it's like way fancier. I was just like, hey, I'm about to faint. Could you like grab me something from the kitchen? And she whipped up like a salad and pasta. try to read out loud, it destroys my body and mind. Hey. I suppose there is a precedent then. Or you've infected me with something, which I choose to believe. Last time we had this little adventure, I was so self-conscious, and I was just scooping. Is it? I really hate mouth sounds, so long as you're not hearing my actual fucking chewing, I guess I don't mind much that some of the sound is leaking through. But no, yeah, last time I was just like, I gotta shove pasta into my mouth as fast as possible. And I'm still trying to hurry so we can get back to the game because genuinely I want to see what's going on. But like, I don't know, a kind of midstream break is forced. It's like small bites and fork scrapes. Okay. Well, if it's annoying to anyone, let me know. I will try to fix it in the audio. But yeah, I don't know. I think a little middle break just to chat is nice. Maybe in this particular game, less so, because there's like a very firm narrative that I'm slightly interrupting, but I don't know. Yeah, exactly. We got a small commercial break. I watched this YouTuber called Noodle, I think. And he has commercial breaks in the middle of his videos for nothing. He just makes commercials that are silly and for nothing and just uses them as a middle point of the video. And honestly, I fuck with that so much. Do any of you have that habit too? I tend to, whenever I'm like eating in front of people, I cover my mouth with my hand. Might be just a me thing, but like, I feel like there's a natural inclination towards it. That makes sense. That's definitely where it started. I can't wait someday. I mean, I really like the fucked up apartment background that I found just around, but someday I really want to do like art of Moth and Pleasant hanging out, maybe with some other people in a fucking mucked up punk house. I think it would be really cute. Indomitable, welcome back. What you eating? We're just yapping endlessly about art we want to commission and stuff. Also, do you cover your mouth sometimes when you're chewing? Fish, mushroom, vegetables? Ah, that sounds pretty fucking good. I'm a big fish lover. I know that's occasionally a hot take. Milk and 2 different kinds of dessert. You drink just straight milk, that's horrifying. That's monster behavior. But 2 desserts kind of redeems you, so net 0. I mean, I do as well. It's just like a... I don't know. Yeah, I can't explain it. I was just bringing it up because I don't do it when I'm alone. So I think it's kind of funny that hanging out with you all with this model representing me, I still feel the, I don't want to say compulsion, that feels too strong, but like the habit still kickstarts to like do that while I'm talking to you, which I think is kind of cute. Yeah, for sure. I don't know, it's like... I feel like I used to act very different depending on who I was with, and now I don't, which feels like a good improvement. Do you want to share an example of one of those things? I like learning people's little quirks. Huh. I definitely smile nervously. Oh my god. Nothing more relatable has ever been said from any human being. Yeah. So the thing that makes me so nervous, especially with streaming, I'm so nervous about tone that I will speak out loud any sentence I type to make sure that the punctuation infers the right tone. It is crazy person behavior. And I'm very scared that I'm gonna be streaming and then like try and type in someone's chat or type a message and like fucking dox myself. But I assume perhaps you're talking about actual verbal tone rather than red tone. Or maybe not. We're both Twitch enjoyers after all. See, we're on that same wavelength. Not the same wavelength me and Pyro were on earlier. That was strange. What kind of tools? Like a grammar checker kind of thing? Aw, that's kind of cute. Hey, when the robot overlords come to kill us all, maybe you'll be spared. I just ran into this weird problem with like Grammar Checker, and by Grammar Checker I mean I share my writings with someone who is also a teacher, so she knows grammar a lot better than me. And she's like, hey, you're using the wrong tense in all these places. I'm like, oh, like that seems like something easy, I'll just fix it. But I don't like how it fucking reads correctly, so I've just went back to doing it incorrectly just because, even though I'm like, I hope this isn't confusing for everyone else to read, but like, I just fuck with it too much. I like describing things as if they've already happened. I think it makes it feel like it's beyond your control. Refuse to change? And why should you? It's your God-given right. Half a semester for studying linguistics in college taught me grammar is fake anyway. There we have it. All of us are fucking free and clear. Abdominal, I appreciate you being sympathetic to my artistic vision, but here's the thing, is I'll occasionally switch to present. And I don't have any rhyme or reason for when I switch. It's just what sounds better on my tongue. But, you know, I dug this grave, now I'm gonna lie in it. That's the saying, right? God, yesterday I would have been so worried about the time we're spending in this moment that I would like, I only have a couple bites left, I'd just throw it aside and be like, I gotta get back into fucking streaming, I gotta do the thing. I'm just enjoying this. I'm enjoying this moment. I think like midstream hangouts, I made my bed and now I'm going to lie in it. Nah, that sounds fake. I don't know. I feel like these should become a bit more of a tradition, even if I remember to properly feed my mortal form. Aw, undoubtedly, that's the sweetest thing I've ever fucking read in my life. What the hell? It could be a good reminder for people in the audience. Oh yeah, maybe it will be about eating. Maybe eating a meal together is like part of my charm. Is like a thing that we do in the stream as a little tradition. Wait, I really like that idea. Undoubtedly. Do you want godlike power? I don't know what else to offer you. There's something about breaking bread. Just give me enough power to harm a god. I don't think I can give you the power to ban me in my own stream, which is the closest example to that of what I can think of. Big plans, I see. Right? Very direct plans. Alright. That was nice. Maybe this will be a little tradition. Take whatever power you're willing to give. I don't know how to mod you, but I bet there's a way. Oh, yeah, you just type mod and then... But wait, I need verbal confirmation that you won't take this as like a job. I don't want you to have responsibilities in here. I just want to give you godlike power because it's funny. Oh my god. This is the second time I've struggled to type your fucking name to try and add a command at you. The last time was to time you out. I thought at first we were doing a bit. I mean, everything's a bit. It could be a bit that you have godlike power and can kill who you please. I feel like a little bit of godlike power is good for the good for morale. One person who can smite you at a notice. All right, let's hook back. God, what the hell? Okay, I'm turning off the Warudo SFX because I don't know why it's picking up the game audio, and I don't know how to fix it, so we're just gonna not fuck with it. My models still moving? Okay, cool. Cool. I can see the chat, kind of. I'll try to be helpful. See, I don't even want you to be helpful. I want you to be actively, like, antagonist. No. Okay, you can be helpful. It's in your nature. You're such a nice little... Okay. I'm giving you godlike power. Maybe. I don't know if that worked. No. Well, that either did something or it didn't. Let's get back to the gaming. Or queering, as I ignore that. What about the weights? What did David even do with all this equipment? Dry his laundry? Maybe it was for Sarah. What makes you so sure he wasn't exercising? Did you ever see him use any of this crap? No, but he must have used the weights when I wasn't looking, since he promised me that he'd take better care of his health. Sarah, those weights are all maxed out. David couldn't have put up numbers like that even if he was piloting a frame. But you feel vibes. I feel the vibes of having more power. Well, honestly, it's a vibe-based economy, so I think that all checks out. Don't be so sure, Adonai. Pardon? The following is a true story based on primary sources who were present for the event and its aftermath. Copenhagen, 1981, 8:10 a.m. local time. A towering man with the musculature of a world-class professional rugby player enters the global Danke Bank on Frederiksberg Lane. He explains to the bank teller that he has a bomb in his suitcase and that he wants his gym bag filled with unmarked bills. Oh my god, this is a fake story, isn't it? A security guard approaches him from behind with a nightstick and swings, but the man simply catches the weapon and bends it into a twisted knot with his massive dinner plate-sized hands. When asked to describe the suspect to the police afterwards, the teller had only this to say: that man was all muscle. The rest of the bank heist proceeds without incident, and the man exits the building just as police arrive on scene, when suddenly, his suitcase explodes. But it's just a smokescreen. Local officers quickly recognize the ploy and rush towards the door, grabbing each of the hostages as they flee while desperately searching for the perpetrator. What they find instead is a diminutive, frail, sheepish young man, barely 160 centimeters tall, holding a gym bag full of money with no recollection of how he got there. Renowned psychologist and trained hypnotisist Dr. Werner Kurtzner wrote the following in his diagnosis. Is this fucking Dr. Jekyll? Acute dissociative identity disorder. That's right, the man had a split personality. And so great was the disparity between his two halves that when they switched control, he physically changed, becoming taller, bulkier, and capable of previously unthinkable feats of strength. So be careful when you say a man like father can't do. So be careful what you say a man like father can't do just because of how he looks on the outside. This is straight just Mr. Hyde and Dr. Jekyll. Sarah, every single word you just said was false. Huh? Don't believe everything you read on the net. I love that. I love that so much. What keeps making the noise? I feel like there keeps being a thing. Ah. What's the story with this anyway? Some kind of fault in the foundation? I don't know. I've never noticed that crack before. Might want to get those eyes checked. There's nothing wrong with my vision. This crack must have just been created during my most recent hibernation. That's relevant. I assumed she did it. Nothing else could have done it. How? Did David drop a weight a bunch of times over and over in the same spot? No. Something's fucking up with that. The liquor cabinet this mystery hinges on. The police have been through it all by now, and they didn't find foreign contents in any of the spirits. No poison to be found here. Well, not that kind of poison anyway. In which case, can I make you anything? Well, if you're offering, I'll have... Sorry, you're way underage, aren't you? 2 years old or whatever? Technically. Took that one a lot worse than I expected. Cheer up, maybe you'll find a mocktail if you climb to the top of the ladder. This is a rolling ladder, a kind of step ladder, not a ladder. What? Remember, a ladder extends, but a step ladder folds out. Oh my god, Sarah, you fucking nerd. And it's important to know the distinction. I'd bet my life savings that this subject will never come up again, ever. Oh no, now it's definitely gonna fucking, that's Chekhov's gun she just placed on the game. Okay, let's fucking do this. Oh, this is taken the original. So this is the original. It was appraised and confirmed to be genuine. At least it didn't get ripped off. I'm a Philistine when it comes to this kind of stuff. What does an android see? I see a meeting, or perhaps an encounter. Two apex forces of nature, two kings of the forest, the stag and the tiger. I think. Great, I'm officially less cultured than the robot. Alright, let's refocus here. So there's some kind of hidden door behind your bunk bed, huh? Essentially, though a bunk bed would imply a second or third. How do we open it? One moment. I see. Got it open already? I cannot open this door. Fucking hell. Mud, make it real. It's as real as we all believe it in our hearts. Why? It is a Tethys basic Sturdicure. That anti-hack feature in the name is real? It's a closed system, Adonai. The hell am I supposed to do now? Strange. There was an if-then toggle enabled in the security parameters. I don't follow. When Father last adjusted the settings here, he made it so that the door would never open as long as I was hibernating. And he made it so that I was the only one who could wake her up. Meaning this is a door that only I can open? It'll be a 6-character password, some combination of numbers or letters. Did you and Father have any influential moments in your life that revolved around a 6-letter word? Nothing comes to mind. Is there a code word that he knew only I could learn? Oh my god. I hate that I can never look at my phone in moments like this. I'm trying to think. What is there? Plastic? No. Sarah? No. Morgan? Was that your name you just tried? It's 6 characters, isn't it? Yes, but it's not exactly secure, Adonai. Anyone who knew you and Father were close could have tried guessing it. Yeah, I know. Was there some word that only the two of you knew? A nickname? Let's go through fucking David. Hi, David. Custom designed by Fiamma. That's technically... maybe it's that painting again? No, none of this is in evidence because it's not fucking evidence. I don't think my gun is loaded. That seems like... seems not ideal. A nickname. No, I want... Where's the fucking stuff? Where's the stuff? Is it in evidence? Junk's Cup, Sarah's... Blah, 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 blah. Sarah's valuation. No. Autopsy, executive for plan. Where did we do we remember where we fucking saw it last time? Search terms? Oh wow, it's all in red that they turned it to past tense. Wow. That's kind of sad. Violation of our terms of service. No, he's dead. Oh, it's marked because citation is needed. I don't see anything on here that could be a password. Is there big blue painting? Anything else in here? 1, 2, 3, 4. No. 1, 2, 3. No. Oh my god. Did everyone hear the cat shuffling their way over the microphone? They're a bastard. What else is connected to him? Think about it. When you're well known, your death might be less of a tragedy to some and more of an update for your Wikipedia. That's grim, but correct. Turing solution? 1, 2, 3, 4, no. It's 6. Oh no, it's 6 characters, not 5. So Turing, maybe? It's not the worst idea. Everyone just calls me Morgan, but not everyone. Oh, fuck! My name! My actual name! Oh, fuck, what was it? The Reyes said it earlier. That was the cop. Oh, fuck. She said it last time. It was something she made fun of. Fuck. I really wish I could check my phone. I really want to do it in less tries. This is always so upsetting to me. It's like something kind of old-fashioned sounding. Okay, I'm just gonna... Hold on. What's my actual name? It doesn't say here. Fuck. What was our name? So annoying. Where would it be? Maybe in Reyes's thing? Do not stir remembering their action. Alright, I'm just looking up her actual name in case I'm right. I don't want to look up a tutorial. Oh, that's right. It's more than 6 letters. Okay, so that has to be wrong. Okay, at least it was Evangeline. So at least we fucking solved that. But now... Oh wow, that's right, we have money. I want this. Hey, we have a little Sarah charm. That's so cute. Okay, that was important, guys. That was incredibly important. Wait, is there anything else? Oh, a different phone case? I like teal. Magenta's cute. Rose gold is like weirdly expensive. Jesus. I like teal. I like teal. It's a good color. Okay, sick. Great. Now that that very important detail is under control, what the fuck is the password? We'll save. Oh, whatever. Sullivan's Peak. Rename. Morgan. Could it be your birthday or his? If David set the password to something as dumb as that, I'd never forgive him. As you say, Adonai. I'll try it, though. Just in case it doesn't let me back into my fucking December 26th. Now, you would have picked a code whose significance was only obvious after the fact. Significance was obvious only after the fact. Right? It's so cute. I love Sarah. I want a real-life Sarah phone strap. I bet it exists out there. I'm just gonna try it anyway. 12, 26. Oh, but I don't have a year. That's right. Who was that girl we just met with? Jung? Is there any 6-letter characters related to her fucking name? Sarah, it feels like it must be connected to Sarah, but Android? No, too many letters. God, I'm really fucking racking my brains. I at least want to guess that, like, seems reasonable. I don't want to just keep typing in random shit just so the dialogue progresses. Noble? No. Woof. Woof. Miss Jung? That didn't work either. Perhaps a deep breath would help you refocus, Adonai. Oh! That fucking... Oh, clever. Clever. You'd never guess. Because we could only know about it if we fucking let out Sarah. Did feel a little bit out of character, David utilizing so much cloak and dagger tech, and I've definitely been struggling with the idea of him doing home improvement, but one step in here and it all makes sense. It's a panic room. Scary. A panic room is a place for rich people to hide in when people start bouncing bricks off their windows. They're typically not even on the blueprints. So when Noble built this penthouse for one of their executives, someone slipped this into the mix, and it's remained in Noble's blind spot ever since. All David had to do was repurpose it. Make sure you're capturing all of this. I don't want to miss my one chance because of a discovery technicality. I understand, but you needn't specify. My memory is flawless. I can play back visual, sound, sensations. I can even give detailed reports on air particulates. Jesus. You mean you can smell? Better than any human, and some canines. So does it smell stale in here to you? Stale? It doesn't to me. Almost like someone's been here recently. Almost like someone visits here frequently. Alright, let's try booting up the computer. You don't think the console is password protected? 2 physical doors, a 64-digit code, a half-ton Android, and a secret phrase. If David set a password on his PC after all that, I'm going back to the morgue to have a word with him. Good. It's already signed in. Oh. Alarming. You're looking for camera footage? I'd also settle for a note plainly stating that he feared for his life. What am I doing? Here, you search for video files. They'll probably be timestamped and formatted for short-range devices. I have the subfolder. The cameras stream live data continuously, but the files are clipped at fairly regular intervals. Once every week, it seems. The most recent video file here has footage going back 8 days. It was accessed yesterday at around 4 p.m. Interesting. 4 hours before his death? You were asleep then, so the only person who could get in here at that time is David himself. Alright, let's see it then. Of course, it's just that I am having difficulty. Try double-clicking. Morgan, I love you. I have been trying to open the file from the moment I discovered them, Adonai, but they are encrypted. Damn it, David, you leave me enough clues to get this far, but you won't let me use your computer. What's the brand on the encryption program? If I rush a subpoena, they might have a backdoor I could bluff them into. These files were not encrypted by any commercially available tool. This appears to be Father's own work. Shit. If David Asher handwrote the encryption on these files, there's no one alive who could. Hey, was Dawes just flattering you back there? Or is your processing power really that special? Adonai, can you break his encryption, yes or no? With enough time. And how much time would that be? I would estimate it at 2 to 6 hours. That's a 4-hour window. No matter how sophisticated, encryption is still just a code that must be deciphered. And when deciphering any code, progress proceeds exponentially, which makes it particularly difficult to determine the amount of time required to complete the process. 2 to 6 hours. I don't have any better options. Get started. I started 4 minutes and 23 seconds ago. Finally showing some initiative. But you've been talking to me this whole time. I have the ability to analyze data in parallel by using subconscious processes, so long as the work required is rote. So you're doing it in the back of your head. Actually, I'm speaking to you in the back of my head. Fuck you. I could give the decryption process my full undivided attention, but I would become non-responsive. Hey, that's a pretty nifty feature. I'll have to keep that in mind. Alright, can you take this show on the road, or do we have to rip this computer out of the wall and find a battery? I have copied the encrypted files and will work on them as we travel. We can leave whenever you are ready. Still can't believe David let me get this far just to shut the door in my face at the last second. But he did let me get this far. And the computer's not the only thing in here. The cabinets are a lot less eye-catching than his computer, but knowing David, that's all the more reason to check. Lots of paperwork, bonds and holdings, a platinum bar. His birth certificate might be nearly as valuable. Can't imagine what people would pay to steal David Asher's identity. And down here at the bottom, a binder. Noble's logo on the front, and in the middle, enough pages to dwarf one of those phone books you see in period pieces. They're masking it in legalese even on the table of contents, but basically, this is his employment contract. Ooh. Interesting. Hold on to this for me. It must be very important if you're giving it to me. It's certainly very heavy. Was there anything else in there? Expecting an updated copy of his will to show up? It is a possibility, isn't it? Maybe in a corny old murder mystery. A widely beloved and respected genre with over 2 centuries of... There is something else. Your papers. That Evangeline Morgan be given immediate and complete ownership of the android designated Sarah. It's dated to a few weeks back. Had he already made up his mind about all of this? If he had, why'd he hide this where no one else could find it? Was I just a backup plan? Jesus. Hold on 1 second. I want to check something. Okay. Honestly, I might close up shop sooner than usual. So the last couple times I've been able to raid people who really encourage me and I really respect in Tia and Nixie. I would love to continue that trend, but I think the next person I have planned end stream a little earlier than midnight. So I might give us another... I think I'll just give us to the next, like, page break, you know, when they update, like, our position and stuff like that. And then we'll raid out, and I'll hang out in the chat there for a while because I enjoy it. And you probably know where I'm going. But, you know, let's read a bit more before then. Her word should be plenty, shouldn't it? Not if people realize how precious you are. Who are we reading? I think you know. I think you know. As a collector's item. We've yet to meet one person who knows what the hell you are. But Noble could have easily argued that you fall under private technology or physical holdings. Unless I had something like this. It's good that you do then. I'm glad that Father wanted me to go with a friend of his. Yeah. This'll get me a huge tax write-off when I donate you to a for-profit college. You could at least pick a charitable institution. It's just an old saying. All colleges have been for-profit since the 60s. That doesn't make me feel any better. You can cheer up in the car. Hail us a ride to the courthouse. Priority. There is no upcharge at this hour for priority transportation. That's irritating. But I'd like to have more than just a few minutes to prepare once we get there. The upcharge is a multiplier of 5.7. I'll prepare on the way over. Very good, Ed and I. Sarah's business conscious? I know, they might be. That's why, like, I think this is moving to the next. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to choose to end right here. And if she raids right out immediately after, then you're her problem. What do I care? Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you also for humoring me while I raid someone who has given me a lot of advice while I've been setting up streaming. You know, give her a follow if you like Twitch and following cool people who are nice to their chatters. And give me a follow if you value your kneecaps. I'm kidding. I've been pleasant this whole time. Oh god, the out of character redeem is gonna go so dangerous for me. So hard, but so dangerous. Okay. Let's have a little, let's actually switch to the other thing. I have another screen. I just did it. Gapperoni. Hi. Okay. I will take your kneecaps. See? Undoubtedly my favorite guard dog. You left the... See, I'm doing that again. I'm reading it out loud. Okay. Here is our little raid message. You can add stuff at the end of it if you want. I'm probably going to add a little heart because I'm a lover, not a fighter. And then we're going to raid out. I usually am so exhausted that I'm just fucking trying to think of things to say. Now I'm just I'm not exhausted and I have no excuse. I still don't know what the fuck to say and how to end things smoothly. So, see you all. That's a good one. That's a really good one. I'm stealing yours as per usual. Undoubtedly, you're better at this. That's why you're a mod. That's why you get paid the big bucks. Okay. I remember how to raid, right? Ah. Hey! Okay. Guys, it has been fun. And I'm excited to end at this point because next time we'll start right off at the fucking courthouse, I think. Or get going to the courthouse. So... I know, but I think I can use them because I have a thingy. Maybe I don't. I'm just gonna go with the heart just to be safe. Thank you for the warning. Yeah, we'll be doing the court. We'll be doing the main drama. We'll finally get to some goddamn gambling in this fucking game. I'm excited. I'm very excited, and I'm excited to see Sarah again. Okay. And there's 8 of you? Wow, that's one more than last time. We're doing fucking great, people. We're doing fucking grand. Okay, bye, 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 bye. Enjoy your time, enjoy your time. Now D. Defense lawyer / lawyer detective cyberpunk stuff. And murder. I left it recording again. Fuck you, fuck you.